A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. You get a call that someone has broken into a necktie manufacturer's. A large supply of hand-painted ties have been stolen. Your job? Check it out.
It was Saturday, September 10th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:31 a.m. when I got to room 45. Burglary.
Hi, Joe.
Morning. Anything for us?
Patrol car picked up a couple of high school kids about 3 a.m.
No?
Found them hanging around a filling station over on Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Juveniles checking them against those other filling station jobs last week. Just to let us know.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be a scorcher.
Yeah.
You noticed it last night? The heat.
Oh, yeah, sure I did.
I don't think I slept more than 30 minutes. Wonder about air conditioning the house.
What?
It's pretty expensive, isn't it?
Well, I guess it depends, doesn't it?
Yeah. Be worth it, though, weather like this.
Well, we don't get these spells too often.
Well, I don't know, Joe. Lots of the new houses have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Just the bedroom might not cost too much. You know, one of those portable units.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Burglary Friday. Yes, sir. Just a second. All right, what's the address? All right. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, I see. Right away. Bye. Tie manufacturing company out on Western. Somebody cleaned them out last night. Over 100 dozen neckties.
Yeah.
Owner says he knows who did it. Frank and I drove out to a small manufacturing shop on Southwestern Avenue. 9:03 a.m. We interviewed the owner, George Prosper. He told us the back door had been forced open during the night and that a large supply of hand-painted neckties had been stolen.
You see right here, the lock's broken.
Yes, sir.
That's how he got in, no mistake about it.
Uh-huh.
You take anything else beside the ties?
Oh, a little cash, $80, $90. But the ties are the important thing.
Oh?
Yeah, they're worth at least $5 a piece retail, all hand-painted, you know.
Yes, sir.
Some of them are worth more, special designs.
Why is that?
Well, they're made up for the individual, one of a kind.
Oh, I see.
Of course, most of the ties he stole weren't specials. They were from a wholesale stock, Christmas orders.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit it doesn't feel very much like Christmas today, but we have to get our orders filled before the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly hope you'll be able to get the ties back for us in time.
Yes, sir. You said you had an idea who the thief might be.
Yeah, that's right. Morgan Gilroy.
Who's he?
Young fellow used to work for me. I let him go first last week. Just wasn't dependable. Always late in the morning. Careless worker, too.
Yeah, well, why do you blame him for the burglary?
Well, he was very upset when I fired him. Said his wife was having a baby. Said I didn't have any right to let him go without notice.
I see.
Told him I'd warn him off enough. Gave him a whole week's pay, and that seemed more than fair to me.
Did he say anything else?
Well, yeah, he threatened me.
Oh.
Said I'd be sorry I fired him. Said I'd live to regret it.
Uh-huh.
Made quite a scene. Told him if he didn't get out, I'd call the police.
Did he leave then?
Well, not right away. He quieted down some, asked me to change my mind and keep him on. Said he couldn't be out of work now, that he had to have a job and kind of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I told him there are plenty of jobs to be had. If a man really wants work, he can find it.
Yeah.
Different when I was his age. Had to earn your wages.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd take young fellas like Gilroy careless, irresponsible, always looking for shortcuts, always looking for an easy dollar. Never give value in return.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sure it was him. Just the sort of stunt he'd pull. Easy way to earn $1.
Well, then he's got something to learn, hasn't he?
Hmm?
This was the hard way. Frank and I called the crime lab. While they checked the premises, we continued to interview the victim, George Prosper. He gave us a description of the suspect, Morgan Gilroy, and Gilroy's home address. He also gave us a detailed description of the stolen property. 10:17 a.m. The lab reported that they were unable to find any useful fingerprints on the jimmy door. Pictures of the jimmy marks were taken. There was no other physical evidence. 10:57 a.m. Frank and I drove out to the address Prosper had given us. It was a small apartment house on Fountain Avenue in Hollywood. The Gilroy apartment was number 7.
Yes?
Morgan Gilroy in?
No, he isn't.
You Mrs. Gilroy?
Yes, sir.
We're police officers, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Pleased to meet you.
Be all right if we come in for a minute?
Oh, I guess it'll be all right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I'm not fixed up. I kind of overslept this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you out late last night, Mrs. Gilroy?
No.
How about your husband?
What about him?
Was he out late? Well,
Don't you think you ought to tell me why you want to know?
it's a police matter.
Then maybe you'd better talk to Morgan.
Yes, ma'am. Do you know where he is?
At work.
Now, where does he work, Mrs. Gilroy?
For a time manufacturer.
Which one, do you know?
Prosper's. George Prosper. That's the owner's name.
Mm-hmm.
How long has your husband worked for him?
6 or 7 months.
And that's where he went this morning, did he?
That's where he goes every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened to Morgan?
We'd like to talk to him, that's all.
Then why don't you? I told you where you could find him.
Yes, ma'am.
The Prosper Tie Company. I don't know what the address is, but it's in the phone book.
Well, we just came from there, Miss Gilroy.
Well, I don't understand. Didn't you see Morgan?
Your husband doesn't work for him anymore.
What?
He was let out last week.
I don't believe you.
That's what his boss told us.
Well, Morgan would have said something about it.
No.
Oh, you've made a mistake. You must be talking about a different person.
No, ma'am.
What's got to be a mistake? Well, sure, Morgan gave me his paycheck last night. Every Friday night he gives me his paycheck. He got paid yesterday. The same as every week.
Do you still have the check?
No, not exactly.
What do you mean?
Well, it wasn't the check he gave me, not really.
Oh,
You see, he'd cashed it on his way home from work.
I see.
But it was the usual amount, $80. Mr. Prosper must have paid him.
What time did your husband get home, Miss Gilroy?
Last night?
That's right.
Well, he was later than usual.
How late?
If Morgan's in some kind of trouble, I've got a right to know. I've got a right, haven't I?
Suppose you just answer our questions, would you?
He wouldn't have done anything wrong. Not at a time like this. You see, we're going to have a baby.
I see.
Morgan doesn't even think about anything else. He wants everything to be just perfect when the baby comes. That's why he couldn't have done anything wrong. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yes, ma'am.
That's why, whatever it is, well, it just has to be a mistake.
Well, you can help us clear it up.
All right.
What time did he come home?
About 2:15.
A.M.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Did he say where he'd been?
He called from the shop about 5:30 yesterday afternoon. Said they had a rush shipment to get out, that he'd be working late. Told me not to wait up for him.
Had he ever worked this late before?
Once or twice. Not till 2:15 maybe, but till nearly midnight.
Were you awake when he got home?
Yes, sir.
Then you're sure of the time, 2:15.
Yes, sir, I'm sure. You see, I couldn't get to sleep. I was kind of worried about him. I guess I kept watching the clock. It was 2:15 when he came in.
What did he say?
He was kind of put out, provoked about my still being awake. Said I ought to get my rest on account of the baby. I guess I sort of flared back. I said it was his fault on account of him being out so late. Oh, it wasn't a real fight or anything like that.
Yes.
He said I oughtn't to blame him, that we'd need all the extra money he could make. And he took out his wallet and gave me this week's pay, like I told you.
Mm-hmm. Did he bring anything else home with him, Mrs. Gilroy?
With him?
Extra clothes, ties, anything like that?
No.
You mind if I look around the apartment?
Well, I know where everything is. If you'll tell me what you're looking for, maybe I can help you.
That's all right. I can make out. Just the bedroom?
Yes, the bed isn't made.
Don't worry about it.
I wasn't feeling very good this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like some coffee?
No, ma'am, thank you.
What about your friend?
No, I don't think so.
Did Mr. Prosper really say he fired Morgan?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, did he say why?
Well, you better ask your husband about that.
Just isn't fair. At a time like this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't appreciate Morgan. None of the people he's worked for.
Yeah.
Man does his best. This is the thanks he gets.
Mrs. Gilroy, these ties belong to your husband?
Well, yes.
You know where he got them?
Sure, there's some he made at the shop. Samples.
I see.
Does he have any more of the same kind?
I don't think so. Don't tell me all this fuss is about a couple of ties.
Well, it's a few more than that, ma'am.
Oh?
100 dozen. Except for the 3 ties which Frank had found in the bedroom, we were unable to turn up anything else that seemed to answer the description of the stolen property. 12:15 p.m. Frank stayed at the Gilroy apartment to wait for the suspect while I drove back to the tie factory. George Prosper identified the ties taken from Gilroy's closet. He said that they were samples manufactured in his plant. He also said that they had been given to the suspect and had not been stolen. 1:36 p.m. I checked Gilroy's name through R&I. They had nothing on him. 2:17 p.m. I returned to the suspect's apartment.
Hi, Joe.
Hi. Any sign of him?
No, not so far.
Where's Miss Gilroy?
She's lying down.
Oh,
She's taking this pretty hard on all the pieces after you left.
that's a shame.
I guess you can't blame her much.
No.
In the heat and all, she's bound to be upset. Find out anything?
Well, these are Gilroy's ties.
Yeah.
Prosper gave them to him. Says they're somewhat similar to the ones that were stolen, but they're not the same.
Uh-huh.
Now, you want to go out for a sandwich?
Yeah, I guess so. You eat already?
No, I wasn't hungry.
Mm-hmm. Can I bring you back some?
Oh, milkshake maybe. That'll do it.
Okay. Doctor?
Yeah, fine.
I won't be long.
Frank?
Yeah?
Miss Gilroy's all right, isn't she?
Well, I guess so.
I mean, she doesn't need a doctor or anything like that.
Well, I don't know, Joe.
Well, you'd know more about it than I do.
Well, I suppose if she needs a doctor, she'd call one.
Yeah. Well, hurry it up anyway, will you?
Sure.
I thought Oh, you.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to the other officers?
Went out to get some lunch.
Oh,
You feeling better?
yes, thank you. The apartment's so stuffy today. That's what it was.
Yes, ma'am.
No, that isn't what it was at all.
Ma'am?
You and that other poison. You've got me so nervous I don't know whether I'm coming or going.
Well, I'm sorry we had to bother you.
You're just wasting your time. Morgan won't be home before 6 o'clock. He never gets off work, and I can't seem to get it through my head that he's not at the shop.
Yes, ma'am.
Look, the minute he comes in, I'll telephone you. Or if I hear from you, I promise, the minute he comes in.
Well, it might be better if we wait.
Won't you try to believe me? Morgan's honest, completely honest.
Yes, ma'am.
He hasn't done anything wrong. If he had, I'd know it. He'd have told me.
There's one thing he didn't tell you, Miss Gilroy.
Oh?
That money he brought home last night.
Well?
Where it came from. Frank and I waited in the apartment until the suspect, Morgan Gilroy, came home. 6:17 p.m. We took him into custody and drove him down to the city hall for questioning. He was very uncooperative and for nearly an hour refused to discuss his whereabouts the previous night. 7:08 p.m. We continued the interrogation.
How'd you happen to lose your job last week, Gilroy?
Ask the boss.
He says you weren't dependable.
That's his opinion.
You afraid to tell your wife he fired you?
Who says I didn't tell her?
Did you?
Well, maybe you'll feel more like talking in the morning.
Morning.
That's right.
You can't keep me down here tonight.
Is that right?
You want to drive Judy out of her mind? You saw how she acted when you guys took me in. Well, what are you trying to do to her?
We're not doing anything to her, Gilroy. All we want is some straight answers from you.
It wasn't enough losing my job just when I needed it the most. Now you guys got to crawl on my back, too.
When'd you get your last paycheck?
From Prosper?
Yeah.
Day he fired me?
That was last week sometime.
I guess so.
You gave your wife some money just last night.
So?
You told her it was this week's pay.
Well, I had to tell her something, didn't I?
Yeah.
I didn't want her worrying about me being out of work. I had to tell her something.
Where'd you get the money?
Borrowed it.
Yeah.
Maybe it looked like I was stealing, but I wasn't. I was going to tell him I was taking it. It was just a loan. Till I started drawing unemployment. I thought we was buddies, Steve and me. Some buddy turned you over to the cops for a lousy $80.
Who's Steve?
Steve McGill. Isn't that why you picked me up?
When were you with this, McGill?
Last night.
What time?
5 o'clock on.
Till when?
It must have been nearly 2. It was a little after when I got home.
Where were you?
I met Steve at a bar over in Vermont.
What's the name of it?
Black Pony.
What'd you do then?
We had a couple of drinks, bite to eat.
All right, go ahead.
Some other guys came in, friends of Steve's. I met him once or twice, too.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, let's get up a poker game. I told him I couldn't afford it. I didn't have any cash to spare. And Steve said for me not to worry, that if I ran short, he'd stick me.
Yeah.
We all went over to his place. I did real good for the first couple of hours. I only had $5 to start with and ran it up to over 100.
Is that right?
They were all ribbing me about how I was the one that didn't want to play.
Yeah.
Well, on about midnight, my luck started turning. By 1:30, I was cleaned out. Always seemed to be second high.
Mm-hmm.
Get a straight, sure as fate, somebody else would have a flush, second high.
The game break up at 1:30?
Well, they played on a little longer without me, 15, 20 minutes. I stayed on because I wanted to make a touch from Steve after the other guys went home.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't know how to bring up the subject. Not that Steve can't afford it. He's got plenty of dough, and he won over a couple of hundred in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of beating around the bush. And all of a sudden, I noticed how drunk he was. Couldn't get his pants off.
Mm-hmm.
Just toppled over on the bed and went to sleep. At least he sure looked like he was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Money was still laying there on the table where we'd been playing, over $200. I only took 80. That ought to prove I ain't a thief. If I was, I'd have taken it all.
What'd you do then?
I went home.
Did you stop off on the way?
Well, I couldn't have. Ask Judy. She'll tell you. I was there by a little after 2.
Were you in the neighborhood of the tie factory last night?
Now, within a half a mile. What's that got to do with it, anyhow?
Where does this friend of yours live?
Steve?
That's right.
A little street just off Western, Gramercy Place.
You got a telephone?
I guess so.
You know the number?
Not offhand. It must be in the book.
I'll check it, Joe. Last name's McGill, huh?
That's right. What the heck's going on here? You guys didn't even know about Steve. He didn't turn me in. Well, who did?
A lot of ties were stolen last night. Factory you used to work for.
Ties?
That's right.
You think I had something to do with it?
Your ex-boss does.
Well, he hasn't got any right to accuse me.
You threatened to make trouble.
Well, I may have sounded off when he fired me, but it was just talk. How could I make trouble for him?
Somebody did. We were unable to contact the suspect's friend, Steve McGill, until the following morning. He confirmed the story Gilroy had told us and refused to press any charges against him. From McGill, we got the names of the other 3 men who had played cards the night the tie factory was broken into. They also confirmed Gilroy's alibi. Sunday, September 11th, 10:46 a.m. Morgan Gilroy was released. Frank and I went back to the office.
Now we got nothing.
That's right.
You think his wife was telling the truth? About him getting home at 2:15.
We can't prove he didn't.
No, I guess not.
Well, it seems to be cooling off a little, doesn't it?
Yeah. Probably would have been able to sleep last night, too.
Yeah.
That's my luck.
Well, maybe you can grab a nap this afternoon.
No, I don't feel right when I sleep in the daytime, Joe. Isn't good for a person, you know. Throws your system right out of whack. Except for my brother-in-law, Armin. He can sleep anytime, any place. No strain at all.
Okay. Burglary Friday. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Yeah, I've got it. Well, when did it happen? I see. Right. Bye. Men's clothing store out on Crenshaw. Owner came in this morning to do some work on the books.
Uh-huh.
Somebody jimmied the back door during the night. Sold a supply of suits, slacks, sport coats.
Yeah.
And a batch of hand-painted ties. Frank and I drove out to Nimbo's men's store on Crenshaw Boulevard. We talked to the owner, Carl Nimbo. He showed us how the store had been entered and gave us a description of the stolen merchandise. The thief had apparently followed the same M.O. that had been used on the Prosper Tie Company. We were unable to learn anything more about the suspect's identity. Several days later, a tie shop in Hollywood reported the loss of over 200 knit ties. The following night, a men's clothing store on Wilshire Boulevard was burglarized. Investigation indicated that all these crimes were the work of the same man or men. Burglars who were known to have used similar M.O.s were interrogated. No leads were developed. Monday, September 19th, 8:06 p.m. Frank and I were getting ready to go off duty.
You want to stop by the house on your way home?
No, I'm pretty tired. I think I'll hit the sack early.
We could watch a little TV. It's supposed to be a good fight tonight.
It's too late for that now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Oh, we could watch something else. You're not going to go to sleep at 8 o'clock, are you?
No.
Well, come on then. I'll get it.
All right.
Gregory Smith. Who? Oh, yes, sir. Sure, I remember. Yes, sir. I see. What's that address? We'll meet you out in front. Right away, yes, sir. Guy owns that tie factory, George Prosper.
Yeah.
He's calling from a bar over on Normandy.
Uh-huh.
One of his stolen ties just walked in.
We drove out to a small bar and grill on the corner of Normandy and Kingsley Drive. George Prosper was standing in front of the place when we pulled up. He walked over to us.
Evening, Mr. Prosper.
Good evening. How are you?
Pretty fair. You sure this is one of your ties now?
Positive. It was a special. Worked out the design myself.
I see.
There isn't another one like it anywhere.
I see. Can you point them out to us?
Mm-hmm. Now, see? Through the window there? That corner booth?
That one there, huh?
Yeah, tall fella sitting alone.
Okay, thanks.
You want me to come in with you?
No, sir, we'll take care of it. We might need you later on, though.
Whatever you say. You know how to get in touch with me.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Night.
Good night, sir.
Well, I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
Okay, sit down. Well?
We're police officers.
Okay.
What's your name?
Trendle? Dick Trendle.
You got a job?
Sure.
Doing what?
CPA.
Public accountant?
That's right.
Must make pretty good money, huh?
What makes you think so?
The way you're dressed.
I'm single. I don't have a lot of expenses.
It's a nice suit.
Thanks.
Remember where you bought it?
Sure, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Went up there on my vacation a week ago.
Can we see the label?
Okay. Okay?
Yeah.
One drink?
No, thanks.
My pleasure.
Nope.
You ever been arrested, Trendle?
Sure.
Tell us about it.
Speeding?
Nothing else.
No.
You get that tie up north, too?
No.
Where'd you get it?
Fellow I met a couple of nights ago. Got to talking to him in a bar.
What bar?
Oh, Olympic down toward town. Don't remember the name of it.
What about this fella?
We were talking. Said he was in the clothing business. Happened to mention my hobby was stamp collecting.
Yeah.
Said sure was a coincidence.
What do you mean by that?
One of his customers was a stamp collector, too. Had the factory make up a special tie for him, designed it like rare postage stamps.
Oh.
This one right here, the one I'm wearing.
Uh-huh.
Offered to sell it to me.
Yeah.
Because the customer it was made for had left L.A.
You have the tie with him?
In his hotel. Took me over there to show me.
What hotel was it?
I don't know, a little place a couple of blocks away from the bar.
You think you could find it again?
I guess so.
Did you go up to his room?
Yeah, he showed me the tie. Showed me a lot of other clothes, too.
Did you buy anything else?
Nothing else I needed. I stocked up when I was in San Francisco. Didn't need the tie either, but it was a real bargain.
Yeah.
$350, that's all he asked for it. Felt like this is worth at least $7 or $8.
Mm-hmm.
Sure couldn't see how he was making any profit selling it at a price like that.
You mean a profit?
Well, it doesn't seem possible. It must have cost him more than $350.
No, it didn't.
Huh?
But it will. Dick Trundle gave us a description of the man who had sold him the tie. He agreed to accompany us to the bar where they'd met. 10:17 p.m., Frank and I interviewed the bartender at the BTJ Cafe on Olympic Boulevard. He remembered the suspect and said he had been in several times during the past week. He couldn't tell us his name or address. We left the bar and canvassed the vicinity for the hotel where the suspect had taken Trundle. 10:58 p.m., Trundle identified the Mortensen Hotel as the suspect's residence. Frank and I went inside and talked to the clerk on duty.
To the best of my knowledge, there's only one person staying here who fits that description. That's Mr. Lafferty.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the nicest gentlemen you ever meet. He's in the clothing business.
Is he around now?
Let me check his box. Yes, he must be in his room. The key's not here.
What room is that?
It's 212. He's very careful, Mr. Lafferty. Always leaves his key at the desk whenever he goes out.
All right, thanks.
He's generous, too. Generous to a fault.
You don't say.
I sure see this tie. He gave it to me.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
That's too bad.
Hmm?
You may have to give it back. Frank and I walked up to the second floor. Room 212 was at the end of the hall near the fire escape. The transom was open, and we could see a light inside the room.
Who is it?
Come on, open up.
Yes, sir. Just a minute. What can I do for you, Jack?
Police officer, stand still.
Oh, police. You're wasting your time. I don't believe in firearms.
He's light, Joe.
What did I tell you?
All right, where's the stuff?
I suppose you mean the items I stole?
That's what we mean.
I've already managed to dispose of a good deal of it. What's left is in the closet, the bureau. By the way, the burglar kit's under the bed.
Thanks.
Always believe in cooperating with the police. Things seem to work out better that way.
Yeah.
Although, frankly, I'm surprised you weren't here sooner.
Is that so?
Last week. That's when I was expecting you.
Oh, I'm sorry we were late.
Now, looks like we got everything we need, Joe.
All right, let's go.
You didn't overlook the tools.
Don't worry.
Last week, I was certain you'd be here then.
Mm-hmm.
Right after my second job. I've never been able to pull more than 2 before. Without being arrested, I mean.
You don't say.
It was 4 this time, you know.
Yeah, we know.
4 jobs. Well, that's a new record for me.
Well, let's don't let it go to your head, huh?
Oh, I don't take all the credit. If I'd ever worked Los Angeles before, you probably would have found me sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Have to go somewhere else when I get out.
Yeah.
Maybe up north to Seattle. I never worked there.
Mm-hmm.
Might be able to pull 5 jobs before they catch me. Set myself a new record.
Yeah, well, that's not likely.
You'll see. Just wait till I get out.
We won't be around that long.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 7th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Russell Herbert Lafferty was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, 4 counts. Because of his previous record, he was adjudged to be an habitual criminal and was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Dragnet, the story of your police force in action, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Sunday at 8:30, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan, with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery, suspense, and adventure in tonight's transcribed story, Gentlemen Prefer Horses.
Like they say in the racing form, it was a clear day, track fast, and a field of 7. Any way you looked at it, the smart money was on the Stevens entry. Except for me. I had a hot tip from a guy named Crenshaw, a jockey who finished in a dead heat with a bullet. I walked into the Lion's office that Tuesday afternoon. His hands were folded across 200 pounds of chest, and he wasn't being too particular about the cigar ashes on his vest. It was an expensive cigar. Kind he lit up on his birthday, New Year's, and at funerals.
Well, come in, Jeffrey, my boy. This is a fine day, a very fine day.
Yeah, I can tell by the smell. $1 cigar?
50 center. They were out of my usual brand.
Ah, price of rope's gone up.
Who cares? Today we're living off the fat of the land. Today we're having champagne and caviar. Figuratively, of course.
Yeah, sounds like fancy figures. Who furnished them?
Who but our new client, Jeffrey? Today you and I have the pleasure of serving a young man named Boots Crenshaw.
How's that again?
Boots Crenshaw.
I just wanted to be sure.
Oh, the name. It is a little odd. You see, Boots was quite a noted jockey several years ago. Retired, moved to Los Angeles. Now he needs our help.
How much?
$100 worth, coin of the realm. Oh, what a day.
$100 will buy a lot of help.
That's the beauty of it. He doesn't need a lot. It's so simple. We do practically nothing.
Yeah, I'll bet.
All you do is run down to his hotel and talk to him. The Francesca on East 8th Street. What he wants is so childishly simple, I won't even bore you with the details.
Look, General, if it's that simple, maybe you better hire somebody on day rates to handle it. I don't know a thing about horses.
Exactly. That's why you're ideal for the job.
Because I don't know anything about horses?
That's right. You see, Jeffrey, my boy, although Boots Crenshaw is an ex-jockey, he says there's only one thing in life he can't stand.
Don't tell me.
You guessed it, Jeffrey. Horses.
I should have seen it for an outside bet right there, but I played it for a sure thing. I drove down Main to 8th and east until I spotted the Francesca Hotel. 3 floors of cracked plaster and a fire escape. It was old when Santa Anita was an onion patch. I parked around the corner and went in. A desk clerk with empty eyes and no teeth gave me 307. I went up, tripped on a hole in the carpet, and knocked. 3 minutes later, the door opened wide enough for one eye to look out.
Yeah?
You Crenshaw?
Long shot.
Where's Crenshaw?
Want a tip?
I already lost. I'm looking for Boots Crenshaw.
Who?
I told you.
No, I mean, if Boots was in, who would I say wanted him?
Look, he sent for me.
Sure. Who?
Okay, I'm Regan.
Did he say Regan?
Yeah, Regan.
Oh, let him in. Come on in, Regan. I've been expecting you.
He wasn't.
Oh, Longshot? He's the cautious type. Ain't that right, Longshot?
Yeah, cautious.
Regan, Longshot, Regan.
Fine.
He's the guy they call the Lion's Eye. Have a chair, Regan, have a chair.
Chair.
Thanks. Well, the Lion tells me you got a problem.
Maybe yes, maybe no. That's what I hired you to find out.
Ah, you're the curious type, huh?
Well, it's maybe not that simple. How do you want me to give it to you?
You're calling it. Just line him up at the barrier.
Oh, you already know I'm an ex-jockey.
Yeah, Lion said.
Well, then I'll start there. Up to 5 years ago, I was doing all right. I could boot 'em home with the best of 'em. Then one day at the fairgrounds, I took a spill. Bad. The doc salted it away for 6 months in the hospital and then ended up by telling me I don't ride no more. Well, that's tough on a guy who's been a jock all his life. Longshot will tell you, huh, Longshot?
Yeah, tough.
Anyhow, after I get out, I bum around the oil for a while, but my dough runs out. So, me and Longshot gets an idea.
Yeah, idea.
Know what the idea was, Regan?
No. What was the idea?
simple. All me and Longshot knows is horses. Horses. So we decide to sell tips.
Great idea.
Oh, but that's not all there is to it. We sell special tips.
Yeah, special.
Yeah, $100 a throw. But get this. You get your money back if our pick don't come in.
You don't need any private eye.
No, it really works. The big spenders go for it. Oh, sure, we have to pay back a lot of times, but we got enough winners to keep going pretty well. Up to a couple of weeks ago.
When your horses stop coming in.
Oh, no, the horses do fine, but there's one spender, my number one customer. We depend on him. And poof, all of a sudden he disappears.
Yeah, poof.
Now you're beginning to talk my language.
Yeah.
I don't mean you, Longshot.
Oh, sorry.
So I look for the missing customers. Is that it, Boots?
Yeah, sure, that's it.
Mm-hmm. What do I do when I find him?
Just find out about him, who he is.
Who he is?
Yeah.
You don't know who he is?
Well, that's just it. He always sends a chauffeur in with it, though. A guy named Mike. Mike says the spender's name is McMillan.
Yeah, McMillan.
Yeah, but you don't believe it.
Oh, sure. Only he's a good customer, Regan. I don't want to lose him.
Maybe what you really want is the connection between this McMillan and the spill you took back at the fairgrounds.
Oh, there ain't no connection. I didn't say that. You get me all confused.
Me too.
You spent a half an hour giving me background that led to nothing. Now, there was a reason.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the whole thing hangs together like a string of Chinese firecrackers.
No, I'm giving it to you straight. You gotta believe me, Regan. You gotta.
Boots. My fee says I gotta find your man. But believe him? Nope. Nothing says I gotta do that. I got up and walked out, leaving Boots Crenshaw and his friend Longshot looking at each other like bewildered kids after an unloaded gun went off. Well, I had two things, a chauffeur named Mike and a spender who probably wasn't named McMillan. I headed down the stairs toward the postage stamp lobby. That's when something caught my eye. She was tall, slim, and blonde, but didn't come out of a bottle. She was looking at me, and for some reason what she saw made her cry. Wait a minute, wait.
What do you want?
Well, you were looking at me, remember?
Well, that's not true.
Well, then you need bifocals.
I thought you were someone else.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, your mistake. See you around.
Oh, Mr. Regan.
Wow, now we're getting acquainted.
I was outside the door. I heard your name. I'm his wife.
Crenshaw's?
Yes. What does Boots want with you, Mr. Regan? What did he tell you?
Nothing.
But he must have told you something.
Well, only about McMillan.
McMillan?
You don't know McMillan?
No. Oh, Mr. Boots. Regan, Boots is in some kind of trouble. I've been scared stiff. If you know what it is.
I don't. But maybe you can help. Look, there's a bar across the street. I got a clean handkerchief. Let's talk. She didn't say anything, but I got the answer from her eyes. I held the door open for her, and we walked out onto the sidewalk. It was a cinch. Boots Crenshaw wasn't worth all those tears, but his wife kept on shedding him anyhow. At least until we got to the crosswalk at the corner. That's when something else happened. A baby blue convertible came cruising by, looking for a place to park. Chauffeur driven. It paused, then disappeared around the corner. The girl flinched. I had to choose between Mrs. Crenshaw or the convertible. The way she stared told me to choose the car. It took me 5 minutes and a walk around the block to locate it. The uniform and puttees were gone, so I slipped into the driver's seat. Blue and gold everywhere. Blue paint, blue upholstery. Gold steering wheel and knobs. I reached down for the registration. I didn't expect it to say McMillan. I didn't expect what I got either.
Save you the trouble, Peeper. It says Mike Johnson, 15 Windmill Road, Pacific Palisades.
I should have looked in the rear vision mirror. He was in the back.
So you like the car, huh?
It's nice.
Maybe you'd like to have one like it someday, huh?
I'll wait for the 51.
Oh, this one's nice. Notice the seats. Foam rubber, real leather.
I don't like the color.
Do 110 with no strain.
Yeah, well, I'll get out and you show me.
No. You better try driving it.
Too late. Some other day.
You ain't heard my sales pitch yet. Look in that rear vision mirror again.
That heater didn't come with it.
No. A gun is my sales persuader. Now, I think you do want to drive it after all, don't you, Peeper?
He moved up front beside me. I drove. He headed me out Lakewood Boulevard. It was dark before we passed the airplane plans. And then just when I decided I was going to end up off the end of some pier, he had me turn into the oil fields. He picked a side road that was just 2 tracks in the goo. Then the ride was over, and we pulled up in front of a backdrop of pumping oil wells.
Okay, Peeper, stop here and shut it off. Like I said, drives nice, huh?
Doesn't use this much oil.
No, none at all between changes. I made you come here just so we can talk.
Sure. Story of your life, maybe.
Story? No, I'm just going to tell you one little thing, that's all. You want to guess?
Sure. You're going to tell me who pays you and what for.
You talk awful tough, awful long.
What's McMillan got on Boots Crenshaw?
Get out.
Why the build-up of the $100 tip?
I said get out.
Okay. Okay.
Now walk a little ways. That's far enough. Wait a minute. Okay, Peeper.
How do I get it? In the back?
Told you I wanted to tell you just one thing, and here it is. Boots Crenshaw doesn't want your help. Lay off.
I waited for the shots. They didn't come. But by the time I turned around, the baby blue convertible had disappeared behind some pretty black oil wells. It took me an hour and a half to walk back to the boulevard and hitch a ride to my car. And it took another hour to buck the evening traffic out to Pacific Palisades. 15 Windmill Road was Spanish and set way back behind a mailbox with no name. But it could support a lot of $100 tips. I pushed the bell and tried to figure out what I'd say when someone answered. That turned out to be no problem.
Yes. Well, hello, stranger. Come in. Come in out of the fog.
She was small and compact and brunette. She wore black horn-rimmed glasses, but they didn't get in the way. You could say the same for the sweater she was wearing.
Well, I said come in.
Yeah, you did. Thanks.
Damp tonight. I don't like to keep people standing on the doorstep.
You're real thoughtful.
There's a warm fireplace in here. You'd like the fireplace.
Sure.
We can talk better in there. You do want to talk about something, I suppose.
Lead the way.
There. That's better, isn't it? My name's Gloria.
Mine's Regan.
What are you selling, Mr. Regan?
Cadillacs.
We already have 2.
This one's baby blue.
Oh, you've met Mike.
I sure have.
Is he in trouble again?
I'll talk to his boss about that.
Mr. Stevens?
I was told it was McMillan.
No. There's nobody named McMillan here. This is the Stevens place.
Oh, who are you?
I told you.
No, I mean to the boss.
I'm his secretary. I take dictation.
Yeah.
What do you want, Mr. Regan?
I'll tell the boss.
You couldn't wait for him.
Oh? When's he due back?
What did you say?
That's no answer.
Okay. So he won't be back for several weeks. I thought...
You thought wrong, lady. This is business.
About that fireplace.
So long, lady.
Yeah. I'll tell Stevens you called.
By the time I got back out to my car, the fog was really thick. I drove and thought about that name, Stevens. I wasted some time finding a real estate office that was open late. The secretary was right. Stevens did own the house. I spent the drive downtown thinking the whole thing over. It was past 11 when I got back to the Francesca Hotel for another go at Boots Crenshaw. He was in bed, but he didn't get up to answer the door. He wouldn't be answering any more doors. He was sprawled across the covers, face up. In one hand, he had his riding silks I'd seen tacked up on the wall. But this time I really noticed them, the color. They were baby blue and gold.
This This is CBS, and you are listening to Gentlemen Prefer Horses. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
It began when an ex-jockey who sold tips hired me to find out what happened to one of his best customers. He said the customer's name was McMillan, but a brunette secretary said it was Stevens. Wouldn't matter to the ex-jockey anymore. When I went back to his hotel to tell him, he was in bed. Not asleep. Dead. He was holding on to baby blue and gold shirt, the silks he'd worn in his last race. I called the police, and a tall, nervous lieutenant showed up.
Your name?
Regan.
His name?
Boots Crenshaw.
What's he to you?
A corpse.
Tell me.
Okay, he was a client. I'm with the Lion Agency. Here.
Jeff Regan. License. Uh-huh. Okay. He, didn't pay his fee?
Oh, you don't think I killed him?
Just thought I'd ask.
You got your answer.
You carry a gun?
Sometimes.
Uh-huh. I'll keep it for you.
I got a license for that.
Sure. Tell me more.
All right, he was an ex-jockey. He sold tips, hired me to find out why his best customer quit buying.
Customer's name?
McMillan, he said.
Find him?
No.
You're doing good.
The jockey had a partner. His name was Longshot Coy.
This even gets better, Regan. What else?
I met a fat guy in a blue and gold Cadillac. I met Crenshaw's wife. They didn't give me anything.
You travel fast.
I get paid for it.
Your story's lousy, Regan.
It's my story.
Okay, Ed, run him in.
Wait a minute.
Oh. Now there's more, huh?
No, look, I phoned you. Call Anthony J. Lyon, my boss. He'll check the story.
Okay, Gumshoe. We'll try that for a while. Stay close.
My gun.
Later. Maybe. Okay, Ed, let him go.
I headed outside for fresh air. But I didn't get far. A little guy buried in a big overcoat sidled up next to me.
Hey, Regan, I got to talk to you. Surgeon.
It was Longshot Coy, somewhere underneath that upturned collar. He stuck with me. We turned down the block, away from the streetlights. Then he grabbed my arm.
Listen, Regan, I didn't kill Boots. I came in and found him that way, so help me. It was just a couple of minutes ago, maybe 15 or 20. The cops are going to make me the favorite, Regan. I'm not even an entrant.
I'm listening.
I heard the shot. I was coming up the stairs. I heard it. One shot, then I found him dead.
Mm-hmm. See anything?
Whoever did it got away.
Well, why didn't you call the cops?
Me there practically when the shot was fired. The room clerk would tell him I'd gone up. I'd be a cinch to take the rap.
Well, the room clerk's going to tell him anyway.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You didn't just stop me to feel sorry for yourself.
Oh, no, I guess not. Regan, listen, there's something screwy. Something that don't add up right.
The wife?
Yeah. How do you know?
What about her?
She and Boots, they fought.
When?
Back in Chicago yesterday all the time.
Why?
The usual reason. Other day.
Boots like to play the field, huh?
He used to, but not lately. He loves Susan, his wife. He really loved her, Regan.
Mm-hmm. You think she's in it?
I don't know.
What about the fall?
Huh?
The fall. Fall Boots took back at the fairgrounds.
Oh, that.
Finish it.
Oh, we all make mistakes, Regan.
Mm-hmm. Boots threw that race, didn't he?
Oh, I didn't say that.
For the dough, he and his wife left town, took a tour, finally wound up in L.A.
Boots was hurt bad, Regan.
Yeah, but that wasn't part of the fix.
I don't know.
You're leaving something out, Longshot.
I didn't kill him, honest, I didn't. What do I do, Regan?
Go back there and turn yourself in.
I take the rap. I'd be a cinch to photo finish with a gas chamber. I can't do that, Regan. I can't.
Your choice.
Yeah, I guess it's my choice. I'll see you later, Regan. I gotta think.
Longshot Coy wandered off in a daze, and I headed back to the bar across from the Francesca Hotel. The phone booth was empty. I called my boss, Anthony J. Lyon, asked him to phone Chicago and dig up everything he could on Boots Crenshaw and Longshot Coy. And while he was at it, I told him to check on a man named... Well, the Lion was going to be busy for a while, so I pulled up a bar stool. Then it hit me. I'd counted in everybody but the fat guy in the blue and gold convertible. I headed for my car in a hurry. Only I was too late.
Get in, Regan. I've been waiting for you.
He was sitting hunched behind the wheel, watching the fog. The gun in his hand was big and steady.
You had to show up sooner or later.
Just like Crenshaw.
Get in. Regan, I warned you to keep out of this. I told you it was nothing but trouble. You see, I was right. Trouble for you. This time I brought my knuckles, Regan. No answer? Oh, ain't that a shame?
When I came out of it, there was me and more fog, and the guy with the brass knuckles was gone. I tried to shake out the fog and get up. On the third try, I made it. The street was empty, and when I got out, even the damp air smelled good. I made my way back into the bar and found the phone booth and a nickel. The Lion answered.
Regan, where have you been? It's been over an hour since you called.
What'd you find out, Lion?
What did I find out, Jeffrey, my boy? I found out everything, but everything.
Okay, out with it.
Oh, you'll be proud of me for this. Proud indeed.
If we ever get to it.
Very well, Jeffrey. I found out Boots Crenshaw was injured on July 13th, 1946. Fairgrounds track, 7th race, 100,000 added. He was riding for...
The Stevens Stables.
Jeffrey, that's true. How did you know?
Go on.
The name of the horse was Jade Lady, the favorite, post position 2. Boots Crenshaw was...
wearing blue and gold. Stables colors.
Jeffrey, you're absolutely psychic. Yeah, let me see, where was I? Oh, yes, the horse fell while pulling away as he came into the home stretch. He was racing on the rail. There were those who said Boots deliberately threw the race. However, the racing steward said it was an accident.
Don't stop.
Well, Boots was laid up in the Chicago hospital for some time. Eventually, he recovered, left the city with his wife. They traveled extensively and then came to Los Angeles. That's all, Jeffrey.
What did you get on Longshot Coy?
No, very little. He was picked up a couple of times for bookmaking, otherwise a clean record.
That finish it?
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. There's one thing more. The police have located Susan Crenshaw, Boots' wife. They've arrested her on suspicion of the murder of her husband.
That really finishes it.
Jeffrey, what do you mean?
I mean, the guy we need is Stevens, the owner of Jade Lady. The horse Boots was riding when he took the fall.
You think he's behind this, Jeffrey?
Well, it makes sense that way. Boots louses up a $100,000 purse. The horse has to be destroyed. Stevens not only loses the race, but some people say Boots framed him.
Yes, I see what you mean.
So Stevens follows Boots to Los Angeles, sets up the contact, then settles the score.
Jeffrey?
Yeah?
I've got news for you, Jeffrey.
Okay, what news?
You're sure about Mr. Stevens?
Okay, so we're supposed to have left town. You know something different?
No, Mr. Stevens did leave town, Jeffrey, quite some time ago.
What are you getting at?
In fact, it's safe to say he is not coming back. You see, my boy, your number one suspect, Mr. Stevens, is dead. Good night, Jeffrey.
It had to be Stevens. It made sense with Stevens. Time, place, motive, everything. Even the blue and gold car fit with Boots Crenshaw's riding, only Stevens was dead. That fixed it. Somebody was running the Stevens stables, and that somebody was my answer. I headed the car out Sunset and didn't spare the horsepower. 25 minutes later, I pulled up in front of the place. The fog was thicker than the hair on a Russian wolfhound. I headed around toward the back of the house. I was almost on top of it when I saw it. The big baby blue convertible, white sidewalls and all, sitting in the driveway. From somewhere behind the car, somebody was coming to meet me. It didn't figure to be a welcoming committee, and the police still had my gun. Suddenly, that somebody was named Mike, and he was diving at me, only this time overhead, and I stayed that way. There was a gun in his hand, it was pointing in my direction. Only I caught the barrel and bent it back, brought it down in his ear. He lay there, peaceful, a halo of fog in his head. I didn't wait, because a light flicked on back of the house, and I headed for it in a hurry. I stood looking inside. The room was big and rich-looking, and inside it there were people, 2 of them. Through the window I could see a small guy in an overcoat and a girl with a gun. I didn't wait for an invitation. Drop the gun, lady.
Not a chance, Regan.
Shot went high. I dove across the room toward her. Long shot was right behind me. On the next one, here's where he shouldn't have been. The bullet grazed his head, and he went down unconscious. By the time she could turn the gun on me, I was there first.
Regan, let go.
Like you said, lady, not a chance.
Regan, my wrist.
Aye. Now it's the other way, Gloria.
You haven't got anything on me.
A book full.
You can't prove.
Did you kill Boots? Easy. Everything fits you that fits Stevens.
What do you mean?
My answer came out Mr. Stevens. I was looking for a man. Now, that was my mistake. Change it around, call the man Mrs. Stevens, and you come up with the same total.
Stevens is dead.
Sure, but you're the wife. You've been running the stables. You're Mrs. H.V. Stevens.
Okay. So what if I am?
The blue and gold convertible told me you were mixed up in this. Crenshaw's shirt was blue and gold. It spelled Fairgrounds, 7th race, a horse named Jade Lady.
He threw the race.
Yeah, sure. But that wasn't why you tailed him.
Yeah?
Yeah, he ran out on you, lady. If you wanted to sew him up, you could have done it after the race. But you weren't interested in a dead horse. You were interested in a live jockey.
His wife. She took him away.
She had a lot of nerve.
He left Chicago with her. He left me with a hospital bill.
Like a woman scorned. So you caught up with him, tried to force him back. But when he stuck with a wife, you killed him. Longshot Coy was going to be next. You brought him out here to the house.
Yeah. Boots and I are two of a kind, Regan. Dirty little rat could get me off. Never mind. Go on. Phone the police.
You know what? I will. You know, it looks like you're entered in a race for the gas chamber, sweetheart. And the way I figure it, you'll finish 5 lengths ahead. Well, the cops took it from there. Mike and his boss, Gloria Stevens, joined the paddy wagon set. And a young medic slapped some bandages on Longshot Coy's head. He was like new. Me? I watched the fog settle over the blue and gold convertible and drove home. The next afternoon, I dropped in on the Lion. He didn't look so chipper. The cigar he was smoking was strictly 3 for a dime.
Oh, hello, Jeffrey.
Why the long face, General?
Hey, Jeffrey, I'm not going to hide it from you. When the truth is hidden, only the liar must suffer.
Are you okay?
Hey, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, my boy, I lied to you. I did not receive a $100 retainer from Boots Crenshaw.
What?
You see, Jeffrey, he had such an honest face, such an innocent look. Dirty crook.
You didn't.
Yes, Jeffrey, I did. Instead of taking the money, I let him talk me into taking a tip. Extra special tips, I believe he called it.
So you didn't collect a
No, I took the tip. After all, he guaranteed to pay me if I lost. How was I to know he was a cheat, a cad, a blackguard? Besides, it was sort of a hunch.
A hunch?
The horse, Autumn Frolic, reminded me of my youth.
How much did you bet?
$10 on the nose. Oh, why
David
did I...
Lamb, did you see the afternoon paper?
No, why?
First race, Del Mar, winner, Autumn Frolic. Paid $21 for a $2 ticket.
What did you say, Jeffrey?
You won.
Jeffrey, we're rich. We're millionaires. We're in paradise.
Thanks to Boots Crenshaw.
Yes, of course. Oh, dear Boots, a fine young man, a good soul. Jeffrey, remind me to write a note of condolence to his mother.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, was written tonight by William Frug, directed by Sterling Tracy, and stars Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard transcribed each week at the same time over CBS. Joe Walter speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. The recovery rate of stolen automobiles in your city has dropped far below normal. Evidence points to an organized gang of car thieves. Your job? Break it up.
It was Tuesday, June 14th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Nelson. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 11:27 a.m. when we got to 2564 Dewey Avenue. Apartment 3G.
Want to try it again?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, hi, Joe, Frank.
Hi, Whitey.
Hi.
Come on in.
Thanks.
Come on out in the kitchen. I'm washing out some socks. You don't care if I finish up, do you?
No, go ahead.
I got up this morning. I figured I'd better get it done. Haven't got a clean pair to my name.
Mm-hmm.
Drag a chair and sit down.
Thank you.
What'd you want to see me about?
A couple questions.
I'm not in the fire, am I?
Not with us.
Couldn't remember anything. You never know.
No.
What is it?
You still working at that garage?
Night shift. Check in at 4. This got something to do with my job?
Might have, yeah.
Look, fellas, you know the history. I'm not going to try and hand you a lot of slush, but I'm clean. Half a dozen guys will tell you that. I haven't got off the line since the last time I was tagged.
Well, you're in no trouble, Whitey. We figured maybe you'd give us a hand.
Here's the switch. Me giving you some help. Usually works the other way. What are you looking for?
A lot of cars going someplace, Whitey. We're trying to find out where and who's driving them.
Thought maybe you might have heard a rumble.
There's always something going around.
You got anything?
Won't do me any good if it goes outside.
We won't open the door.
There's supposed to be 3 of them.
What do you know about them?
2 men and a woman. 2 fellas are supposed to be pretty heavy.
Any names?
No, they're planted pretty close. Even the rumble's not solid.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of days ago, I talked to a guy down at the garage. He was telling me about the operation, said it was big.
You know the people?
Enough to be in the same bar. Told me he tried to get a piece of the action, but they're not cutting any of it.
Can we talk to this guy?
I can't stop you, but I can't give you a hand either.
What do you mean?
I can't tell you where to find him.
Does he come around the garage much?
No, he comes in once in a while, talks, nothing regular.
What's he do for a living?
Drives. Stock car races.
Oh, so you got a name?
Call him Tops. I don't know the right.
You know what he's talking about?
Well, I think so. He likes to yak, but he sounded straight on this.
Did he give you any details on the operation?
I didn't ask a lot. I figure the less I know about deals like this, the less I can get in trouble.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Huh?
The way that sock is worn. Argyle, good ones. Cost me $5. Look at that hole in the heel, right in the middle of the 2 covers. How do you mend a sock like that?
What do you mean?
Well, how do you sew it up? Use one color and it louses up the Argyle part. Use the color of the Argyle and it'll go into the foot part. Sock people ought to figure some way around it.
Yeah.
Might as well throw them away.
Any word on what they're doing with the cars?
I didn't hear it. They turn it up?
No, not where we can find them.
Smart.
Are they local people, Wayne?
I don't know. I don't think so. I can't tell you why. I just don't think they're from L.A.
Mm-hmm.
They scoring pretty good?
Yeah, they are. Last 2 weeks, we figured they've taken a half a dozen cars.
Well, how do you lay it on them?
Well, the way they're working, the MO points to the same gang.
What's the pattern?
Cars are taken in the early morning hours from in front of the owner's house.
Jumper wire?
Yeah, all late models. They won't touch anything that isn't fully equipped.
Any special make?
No. As long as the car's a radio and a heater, white sidewalls, they want it.
They're not turning up, huh?
No.
Maybe they're getting them out of the country.
No, that doesn't figure. We've had the border checked. San Diego's working on it. 2 of the jobs, we had the broadcast out within half hour after the car was taken. We couldn't turn anything. Just seemed to disappear.
You must have a big parking lot.
Yeah. You said the 2 men were heavy.
That's right.
How'd you come up with that?
Well, the guy who told me the story, you know, Tops?
Yeah.
When he laid the rumble out, he said he talked with one of the fellas at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Told the guy he'd like a piece of the action. About that time, the roof fell in.
What do you mean?
Well, the guy got real rough. Said there wasn't going to be any split. The action was going to stay in the same corner.
Mm-hmm.
Showed Tops a gun. Said if anything about the operation got out, he'd use it. The way Tops put it, he wasn't kidding.
Did you get any kind of a description of the man?
No.
This Tops fella tell you where the bar was?
Huh.
Well, okay, Whitey. If you hear from him again, will you let us know?
Sure. Call you at the office?
That's right.
Wish I could have given you more. I'll nose around, see if I can pick up anything.
We'd appreciate that. Don't go out on a limb, though.
You don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to line myself up for any trouble I don't need.
Yeah. Well, we'll check you later then, huh?
Yeah. Hope I'll have something for you in the next couple of days.
Well, if you do, it'll put you way ahead.
Hmm?
We've been on it 2 weeks.
Yeah?
We haven't got a place to start. On Saturday, May 27th, the first theft had been reported. The victim said he'd parked his car in front of his house and returned an hour later to find it gone. An immediate local and APB had been gotten out, but the vehicle wasn't found. 3 days later, on May 30th, there was another theft. Same M.O. In spite of all our precautions, the thefts continued. To date, 7 automobiles had been taken, and none of them had been recovered. All possible sources of information had been checked out without result. Outlets for stolen cars had been kept under 24-hour surveillance without netting any new information. The stats office had made runs on each theft and on the general M.O. When the list they returned to us was checked, we were no closer to the thieves. Pressure from the victims and their insurance companies began to build, but there apparently wasn't anything we could do to stop the operation. Frank and I went back to the office and ran the name and description of the man known as Tops through the moniker file. There was no record of such a person. 2 more days passed. Another car was stolen. People in the immediate vicinity were questioned, but none of them had seen the thief. Saturday, June 18th, 11:40 a.m.
Okay. Auto theft, Smith. Yeah? Oh, yeah. Can you hold him? Right. Be right there. Yeah. It's Coach. That was Whitey calling from the garage.
What's he got?
That fella Tops.
Yeah.
He just walked in.
Frank and I left the city hall and drove over to the garage where our informant worked. He pointed out an elderly man in the rear of the place. We identified ourselves and asked him to step into the office.
What do you want to see me about?
Just a couple of questions.
Well, I ain't done nothing. No reason for you to roust me around.
You're not being rousted.
Well, it sure looks like it from here.
You want to sit down?
I'd rather stand up. It's all the same to you.
All right, suit yourself. You want a cigarette?
Yeah.
Frank?
Yeah, thanks. I got a light.
Hey. What's your real name, Tops?
Henry Grayson.
What do you do for a living?
I can get a car, I race.
Stock car?
Yeah.
Where?
Around different tracks.
You live here in L.A.?
Most of the time, come back when I'm not working.
You got a job now?
No, figure to go back east next week. Think I can line something up. Hey, look, you maybe got a lot of time to kill. I haven't. Why don't you tell me what this is all about so I can get out of here?
You ever been arrested?
Huh?
You ever been in jail?
Yeah.
What charge?
Well, they didn't make it stick.
Well, what were you arrested for?
Grand theft.
Auto or money?
Auto.
Do any time?
I told you, they didn't make it stick.
Where'd this happen?
Idaho.
That's your only arrest, huh?
A couple of times for a bag.
They hold you?
No, give me a floater.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you guys are after something. What is it?
You know anything about a gang of car thieves that have been working here in town?
What?
Stolen cars.
Oh, why should I have anything on it?
We heard you did.
From where?
We heard it.
Is it true? Lousy Whitey. He told you, didn't he?
It's not important where we got the information. We're trying to find out if it's true.
Then you'll have to look someplace else. I got nothing for you.
Where'd you get the nickname Tops?
Huh?
It's a funny name. How'd you get it?
When I was a kid, I had real blonde hair, almost white. Other kids call me Cotton Top, shortened it down.
Mm-hmm. You like driving for a living?
It's all right. Better than working.
You do pretty good at it?
Hmm?
Is there any money in driving?
Well, it depends. Sometimes a good month and a couple of bad ones. Depends.
How do you do?
I'm not starving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you want to know about the stolen cars?
What can you tell us?
Not much.
We'll take what you got.
I got to talking with a guy one night. Subject come up. We kicked it around. Turned out he had a deal going for him.
Friend of yours?
Never saw him before.
All right, go ahead.
Well, that's it. He had this deal working. I don't know anymore.
Why don't you do yourself a favor?
What?
If you're not mixed up in this thing, why are you holding out?
I'm not. I'm giving you what I know. Maybe it isn't the guy's life story, but it's all I got.
All right, from the beginning. Tell us what it is.
What?
Everything this fella said.
You got nothing to hold me on. As far as I'm concerned, it's okay if you do pull me in. A couple of days on the city, give me rent and food bills.
All right, let's go.
Look, if I had any information, I'd give it to you. No reason for me to hold out.
That's right.
I never saw the guy before. I haven't laid eyes on him since.
Then what do you stand in front of him for?
What?
Makes you look like the patsy for the piece. Anybody takes a beef, it's going to be you.
For what? Sitting in a bar listening to some drunk?
It's more than that, and you know it.
I can't tell you.
Why? These guys too heavy for you, are they? Is that why you won't go along with us? You scared?
If you got to tie it down, that's the reason.
They won't get near you.
You can guarantee it?
We can.
Okay, I'll go. What do you want to know?
The whole story now.
Well, there's much to tell. I was in this bar one night. 2 fellas come in. They were both kind of gassed.
Mm-hmm.
Sat down next to me and started to talk.
To you?
No, but they were right next to me. I could hear what they were saying.
All right, go on.
Well, they were talking about this deal, how it was all set up. First off, I didn't know what it was all about. Then I heard one of them mention something about cars.
Yeah.
Well, it's like saying something about a new kind of camera around a photographer. As soon as I heard the word cars, I started to listen. Good.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a beef about something. One of them wanted to start unloading right away. The other guy said they should wait for a while, dump them all at once.
Yeah.
Well, they stood there and talked like that for a while, then one of them noticed me listening.
Go ahead.
He leaned over and said something to the other guy, and the next thing I knew, I was surrounded. One of them on each side, leaning on me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want any trouble. I could see those 2 guys had a pocket full of it, so I went along with them.
Well, what happened?
Well, Well, they asked me if I liked what I heard.
Yeah.
I told them I didn't hear anything. Said I had very bad ears. They didn't believe it, said they wanted to talk me outside the bar.
Yeah.
Well, I figured if they got me out there, I'd end up with something broken, so I didn't go. Tried to push me around, but the bartender come over and they moved away.
What happened then?
Came back, told me if I said anything to anybody but what they were saying, they'd get me. One of them had a gun. He kind of pulled his coat back. I could see it in his belt. They weren't kidding. Word that I talked to you gets back to him, I'm as good as dead.
Well, don't worry about it.
Did you try and cut yourself in on the deal?
No.
We heard you did.
Well, it's not true. I told Whitey that, but it never happened.
Well, why'd you tell him it did?
Well, I don't know. Trying to be a big man, I guess.
Yeah.
These two fellows hang around the bar?
Huh?
Have you seen the two men around the bar before?
No, it's the first time.
Any of the other people in the place seem to know him?
Mm-mm.
They leave the place before you did?
Yeah, finished up their drinks and walked out.
They have a car?
If they did, I didn't see it. I stayed where I was. Figured maybe they were waiting for me. Didn't leave the place until just before 2.
You think you'd know him again if you saw him?
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Well, we'd like you to come downtown and look through some pictures.
Well, I don't like to be a finger.
Well, you haven't got much choice, fella.
I suppose not. All right, let's go. Now, don't forget, you guys said you'd take care of me.
We will.
Those fellas find out I'm on your side, they'll try to kill me. Nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah, we think there is.
What?
Us. We took Henry Grayson back to the city hall and had him check the mug books. He was unable to identify the suspects. We ran his name through the record section and found that he had no arrests in the state of California. At his own request, he was returned to his home. Local broadcasts and APBs were put out carrying the description of the 2 male suspects. A week passed without result. Monday, June 27th. I got it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, sir. That's right. Well, when was that? No, we can't take one over the phone. Oh, well, I'm sorry, too. That's right. You live in Hollywood? I see. Well, now, if you'll go down to the police station on Wilcox Avenue. That's right. In Hollywood. They'll take it for you. 1358 between Sunset and Santa Monica. That's right. You betcha. Bye.
Car theft?
Bicycle. Fellow says his kid left it in front of the house, came back and it was gone.
That's something we can do for you?
I'd like to talk to somebody about a stolen car.
Well, sit down. We'll take the information.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, sir. What can we do for you?
You're a policeman?
That's right. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do? I'm Joe Pennant.
All right, sir. What do you want to see us about?
I think I bought a stolen car.
Why do you think it's stolen?
Well, just the way it was handled. The whole thing's got something funny about it.
Where's the car now?
I got it parked outside the other street over there.
You have the license number?
Yeah, I have. You want it?
Yes, sir. We can check it for you.
I got it written down here. All the information someplace. Pink slip, too. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Very fine. Thank you.
I'll check it, Joe.
Okay, thanks.
I sure hate to put you all this trouble.
That's all right.
Feels silly if it turns out okay.
Well, why do you think the car's stolen?
Well, I own this little place up near Lancaster. It's kind of a bar and a couple of cabins for tourists. We're out of town a ways. We don't do a lot of business, enough to make a pretty good living, but it's all hard work.
Yeah.
Day before yesterday, that was Saturday, this guy come into the place, had something to eat. We got to talk. You know, nothing important.
Yeah.
He told me he's on his way back east to find a job. Talked about how he's having a lot of trouble, lost his job and all. Well, he had this new car parked right outside, said he just bought it. Asked me if I knew anybody who'd buy it.
You mean he wanted to sell the car?
Yeah, I said he just got it and he needed the money to get wherever he was going. Told me he paid cash for it and he wanted to get some money out of it.
Yeah.
Said he didn't want to take a loss, but he didn't have the price of gas for it. So he wanted to sell it.
All right, go ahead.
I asked him how much he wanted, quoted a figure, $200 under wholesale. It seemed like a good deal, so I bought it.
Yeah.
Then other guys come in and want to sell things. I learned the hard way, so I asked him if he could prove he really owned the car, that he didn't steal it.
Yeah.
I didn't say it like that, you understand. If the deal was honest, I didn't want to scare him off.
Yeah.
Then he showed me the pink slip and told me where he bought the car. It's a place called Brompton Auto Service in Hollywood.
Did you contact them?
Yeah, I put a call right through.
What'd they say?
Well, I went through a big trash about it. I talked to a couple of secretaries before I got to the sales manager. He checked the records. He said the car had been purchased from them. He gave me the man's name and everything. Nothing about the deal then to make me think there was anything wrong. Pink slip, the car people.
Yeah.
I bought it. Gave the man a check. We drove into town, and I dropped him off at the bus terminal. He said he'd cash the check on Monday. That's today.
Yeah.
Happened I had to come into town this morning, checked at the bank, and they told me that the check had cleared. That it was cash first thing they opened the doors. I got worried about it and decided I'd better talk to you.
Yeah. How about it?
Well, stolen, all right.
I had a feeling.
Anything on it?
No, I checked the report.
No.
It's the bunch we're after.
While the victim, Joel Pennant, looked through the mug books, Frank and I went over to check the suspect had cashed. The name on the pink slip had been run through R&I, but there was no record on it. The check was handed over to Larry Sloan in handwriting. The pink slip was sent to the crime lab, where it was found to be a forgery. We checked the phone book for a listing on the Brompton Auto Service, but we found none. The victim had made a note of the phone number, and from it we were able to obtain the address where the telephone was installed. It was a large office building on 7th Street. Frank and I went over to see the superintendent.
Yeah, this is where they were at 9:26.
When did they move out?
Oh, sometime over the weekend. I'm not sure of the day. I'm off on Saturday and Sunday.
I see.
We'll hardly ever come down to the building on my day off.
Yes, sir.
How long were they in the office?
Oh, a couple of weeks. Said they wanted the place for a month. They paid for it in advance. They told me if things worked out, they'd take a lease.
Yes.
Guess things didn't work out.
Did they leave any forwarding address?
No, they didn't.
What can you tell us about them?
Not much. I only talked to them a couple of times. Seemed nice enough.
Did they tell you what kind of business they were in?
No, said they were trying to get a new product started. Told me most of their work would be over the phone.
Did they pay for the office by check or cash, do you know?
Cash. Said they didn't have their checks printed up yet.
They use a name of any kind?
I don't think I understand you.
Did they call each other by name?
Yeah, they did when they were looking over the office.
Do you remember them?
Let me think a minute. Well, it comes to me, one of them was called Tom. The other one was named Ralph.
No last name?
No, I didn't hear them.
What about the woman?
They called her Lerner. Remember that when they introduced her? Nicky Lerner.
Uh-huh. Has the office been cleaned since they left?
No, it hasn't.
All right, sir. We'd like to have some men from our office go over the place.
Sure. Glad to help any way I can.
Fine, thank you. Can you come downtown and look at some pictures for us?
The criminals?
Well, of some possible suspects.
See if I can pick them out, huh?
That's right.
You better will. Wait here, I'll get my coat. Go right with you.
All right, fine.
Well, second thought, you better wait in the lobby. We can go right out the door. It'll be faster.
That'll be fine.
Well, let's go. Yeah, I can't hardly wait to get home and tell my wife what's happened.
Uh-huh.
She's all the time after me because I never have nothing interesting to tell her at night.
Yes, sir.
It'll be different this time. Give her a story that'll really make her mouth hang open. Sure gonna be a doozer.
Yeah.
You guys could do me a favor, though.
What's that?
Could you drive me home after I look at the pictures?
We'll see that you get there, yes, sir.
I'd like it to be in a black and white car, if you can swing it.
All right.
Make the story more exciting, hard-hitting.
Yeah.
Something else if I come home in a black and white police car.
What's that?
My wife will believe me.
We took the superintendent down to the city hall, but he failed to identify the suspects. The crime lab crew went over the office they had used, but they were unable to find any useful information. Another week passed. During that time, we had reports that 4 of the stolen cars had been sold. The circumstances in each case were the same. In each instance, we checked out the address the suspects had used as a front without result. Tuesday, July 5th, Frank and I walked into the squad room.
No, it's not the same, Joe. Not the same at all. It's all changed.
It has.
Sure. Don't make any difference how you try. It just doesn't come off.
What are you talking about?
The 4th, Joe. The 4th.
The 4th, huh?
Yeah. Remember how when we were kids they had firecrackers and them torpedo things you threw against buildings, stuff like that?
Yeah.
No more. All they got now is sparklers, and them fountain things.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, they're nice. They look pretty, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting up on the morning of the 4th. You see who the first kid in the block was to get a can in the air. Real contest, like.
What?
Get a can in the air. Put a firecracker under a can, light it off. Real contest in our block, so you could be the first one in the morning of the 4th. Didn't you ever do that?
Yeah.
Well, we sure did. Never forget it. No, it's not the same now.
Yeah, but it's a lot safer now, isn't it? I got it. Followed up that Friday. Yeah. That sure might be. It's worth checking anyway. Right, we'll be right over. It's Mott over in forgery.
Yeah?
Just picked up a printer, been cashing checks.
Uh-huh.
Checked his plant, found something we might be able to use.
What?
65 pink slips. We went over to room 29 and met with Sergeant Hal Mott. He told us that he and his partner had picked up a suspect on suspicion of forgery. When they searched the man's home, they found a printing plant where the suspect had been making up phony checks. They'd also found master plates for automobile pink slips and a quantity of the slips themselves. Under questioning, the suspect admitted the forgeries but denied any knowledge of the automobile registrations. Frank and I took him to the interrogation room.
Your true name is Harry Larwell, is that right?
Yeah. You want to tell us about those pink slips?
I don't know anything about them.
You printed them, didn't you?
I guess so.
Well, and don't you know?
I printed them.
What were you going to do with them?
I did it for kicks, nothing more.
For practice.
Yeah.
Do you think a story like that's going to stand up in court?
Look, I copped out to the forgery rap. Isn't that enough for you guys?
We want to know about those pinks.
I already told you.
How many counts did they get on you?
I don't know, 10 or 12.
Well, and you know you're not going to do that stand on your head.
Hmm?
You'll stand 1 to 14 on each count.
It's a lot of time if they run consecutively.
Now, come on. Why'd you print the slips?
What happens to me if I tell you?
What do you mean by that?
We'll make it an easier on me?
We don't decide that.
Well, you see, the judge knows, huh?
We'll put it down like that, yeah. Now, tell us about it, will you?
I made them up for Tom and Ralph.
Who are they?
A couple of guys I know. They come to me with this deal, said if I'd make them 100 slips, they'd give me $1,000. I needed the money, so I did the job.
Yeah.
Well, after I made them, Ralph said they could only use 45 of them. Then we had a beef. He gave me 500, and I gave him the pinks.
You know where you can pick up your friends?
Yeah. Piper out in Hollywood. The girl there, too.
Who do you mean?
Understand her name's Nikki. Oh, yeah. Ralph's wife. Yeah, I guess she should be around.
When'd you see him last?
Yesterday. Ralph called me in the morning, told me they was interested in the rest of the slips. Wanted to know if we could make a deal.
What'd you tell him?
Yeah, we could. I'm supposed to meet him this afternoon.
Where?
Drugstore on Sunset. He told me 3 of them were going to leave town.
All right.
You going to pick them up?
That's right.
Guess they had a good thing going for them. Sure, we're raking in the dough.
Yeah.
Ralph told me about it. Said they were coining money. Kind of hate to see it broken up.
You do?
Yeah. Good deal like that. Good ones are hard to come by these days. Takes a lot of time to set one up.
Mm-hmm.
Break this one up, they'll have to sit down and figure another way to make a buck. Kind of hurts to think about it.
It does.
Yeah, good deal like that shot. It really hurts me.
Think what it's going to do to them.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 10th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Ralph Norwood Prescott, Thomas Dean Bolton, and Nicky Lerner Prescott were tried and convicted of grand theft auto, 5 counts, and received punishment as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 10 years in the state penitentiary.
Ladies and gentlemen, careless driving is kid stuff. Most automobile accidents happen when we forget to act our age and drive carefully. Letting off steam, defying authority, showing off, risks a driver's life as well as the lives of other people. In your car, act your age. The life you save may be your own.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
This one's about Pete Kelly. It's about the world he goes around in. It's about the big music and the big troubles and the big 20s. So when they ask you, tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's blues. Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb,
with story by Jim Moser and music by Dick Cathcart.
My name's Pete Kelly. I play cornet. You'll find us at 417 Cherry Street, Kansas City. It's a standard speakeasy. We got 35 cases of cut whiskey and a 7-piece band. We start every night at 10 and we play till 6 in the morning. It's not much, but the contract runs out in June 1924. After that, there's a place in South Chicago that may take us. In the meantime, we're working here on Cherry Street. The lease is made out to George Lupo. His brother gave it to him after the funeral. The kind of music we play started out as a backroom exercise in a little swamp stop called Myrtle Grove. LaRocca took his Dixieland band to Reisenweber's in New York. We got as far as Kansas City. It's no place to get off a train unless you're a sack of mail. Because around here, everybody works at the same job, staying alive. Half a buck buys a pair of socks, a spaghetti dinner, or a down payment on murder. The last night, everything turned sour about midnight. The town was down on its hands and knees trying to crawl through one of those Kansas City hot spells that blast by every third day. It was heat and headaches all the way. Our drummer, Nick, was dragging the beat, and I went bad 12 bars in on the Memphis Blues. Well, I figured we better cut the set short, so we started to fight our way through one chorus of Roses of Picardy. That's when the kid came in and stood to the bandstand. He was tall enough to see over a quart of milk with a face the size of a minute and just about as young. All right, let's get off for a while.
Who's your friend, Pete?
I don't know, but he must be tone deaf.
Mr. Kelly! Mr. Kelly!
Yeah, son.
I heard you play. You sound good.
We've been better. What's on your mind?
Father Cronin sent me to see you.
Are you doing a little missionary work?
Oh, no, sir, nothing like that. I'm an altar boy over there. Father calls me Little Jake.
We sure got you working the late shift.
I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. Father wants a favor.
We'll make it a small one. I'm all out of the big one.
And he just wanted to know if you could come by St. Timothy's and see him. He said tomorrow morning right after the 9 o'clock.
Okay. Tell him he keeps terrible hours. I'll be there.
Thanks, Mr. Kelly.
Pete Kelly? Yeah, that's right.
Tell the kid goodbye.
He knows his way out.
Should I go, Mr. Kelly?
Beat it, kid.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, goodbye, Jake.
You got someplace private? We'd like to talk.
This is my office.
Now listen hard, Bright Eyes. There's enough gun in this coat to blow you right through the wall.
I'll take your word for it.
We coming in nice and you get funny mouth. Now you got someplace we can talk?
I can't leave. I got to do a number.
Do it. We'll be right here about 10 feet from your stomach.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
You look sick, Pete. What's the matter?
I feel fine. Who's sorry now? Everybody ready? Let's go.
You proved it. Now let's go.
Yeah. Keep them going, Red.
How many shall we do, Pete?
If this works out, about 10 minutes worth. Let's go. The alley will do. We need a favor, Kelly.
Yeah, there's a run on them tonight.
Give me the envelope, Dix.
Yeah.
You got an inside coat pocket, Kelly?
Come on. Either throw or pass the dice.
Hold him, Dix. Pull him up, Dix.
Come on. Up.
Yeah. Now, this is how. Here's an envelope. It goes in your inside coat pocket, and it stays there until 6 o'clock tomorrow night. You don't open it, you don't mess with it.
What happens at 6 o'clock?
You'll be the first to know.
Well, I stood there in the alley and watched them walk away. Inside, Lupo was blowing up a storm. Something about paying for a 7-piece band and only having 6. Well, it wasn't worth trying to get back on the stand. I got a cab and went up to my room. I tried to get to sleep. It was no good. I got up. I was sick to my stomach. After that, I went to sleep. The next morning, I made a pass at some breakfast and tried to look through the sports page. Harry Heilman got 4 for 5 against the Red Sox, but that's all I read. That envelope had me. People have been taken out in alleys before, and they've been worked over, usually to get something away from them, not to give it to them. No matter how I tried to put it together, it wouldn't come out. Thin or fat, it wouldn't slice. I had the envelope, and I had to wait till 6 o'clock. Well, I gave up on the coffee, and I started over to see Father Cronin. It was a little after 9:30 when I started up the steps of St. Timothy's. I figured Mass was almost over, so I hung around in the vestibule for a couple of minutes, trying to look like a part-time bell ringer.
Hi, Mr. Kelly.
Hello, Jake.
Father's back in the sacristy, Mr. Kelly. He said for me to show you the way.
They move it?
No, sir.
All right, Jake. Show me the way.
This way, Mr. Kelly. Down this aisle.
Well, I guess I was too busy trying to act like I knew my way around to pay much attention to a fat, chunky little guy wearing a brown Borsalino hat. He stood up in a back pew a couple of aisles over. The church was empty except for the 3 of us. Little Jake found out about it just before I did.
Mr. Kelly, that man back there.
All right, mister. I'll take that envelope.
Jake, get out.
Mr. Kelly, look out! Look out!
Well, in Kansas City, you learn early to look for trouble. Any place, any time. But this is the first time it caught up with me in the middle of a church. The last 3 shots were a waste of money. Jake went down like young wheat in a hailstorm. When I grabbed for him, I hit my head on the base of a marble pillar. I lost the edge right there. By the time I hit the street, he was gone. I guess I covered every alley and street in the neighborhood. But it was like trying to wash a pail of dirty water. I don't know how much later it was when I stopped for a minute in an empty doorway and tried to remember what I was chasing. Well, a siren was crying off somewhere in the distance, and I started back for the church. The coroner's wagon was just pulling away as I got there. I didn't see Father Cronin around, so I went back to the rectory and rang the bell. He came to the door in his shirt sleeves. He stood there for a minute just looking at me. And then he motioned me inside.
In here. Sit down.
The kid, Father, little Jake.
He's dead. You want to blow by blow?
Yeah, I know, Father. I was there.
Sure you were there. You're always there. I should have known better than to call you. I should have known it meant trouble.
Oh, wait a minute, Father. This wasn't my party.
I called you here today to ask you a favor, Pete.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know. It's too late now. We were going to have an altar boys picnic tomorrow at Washington Park. I wanted you to play a little music for us. We won't be going now, Pete. We got a funeral instead.
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
Don't say anything, Pete. If you've got any private fights, that's your business. But don't bring your beefs into the church.
I never saw the guy before, Father.
Don't kid me. He didn't come in here to shoot little Jake.
Now, look, I know this is hard to understand.
You bet it's hard to understand. We've been over it before, but you ran with the same pack. You hung on to the same friends. You had it all figured out. Well, you figured this one, Pete. There's a 9-year-old boy on his way to the morgue. He took a gangster's bullet that you earned. Now you go ahead. Figure it.
I got this envelope.
I don't want an explanation. Take your excuses and peddle them where you need them. For the bootleggers and the gunmen. Take them to your crowd.
This envelope, Father, they shoved it in my pocket. I was out in the alley behind the club. 2 guys, they worked me over. I didn't think they'd try anything like this.
Neither did little Jake.
It's all right, Father. I told you I was sorry.
Go on home.
Why don't you stop cutting at me and say a prayer for that kid?
I would, but I'm too busy praying for people like you.
Well, you couldn't blame him. How do you explain away a dead kid lying in front of an altar rail? All I could offer was a 2-cent envelope in my coat pocket and a wild night in an alley. I started to walk back to my room. I tried to paste up some kind of an answer, but I got nothing. I was halfway home when the last breeze left town and went someplace to cool off. My clothes were soaking wet, and I decided to take a cab the rest of the way. I reached in my pocket, and all I had was 23 cents, so I kept walking. Sunday morning's the same in any town. Empty streets and everybody home trading the comic section and living off of Saturday night. You could live here all your life, and on Sunday morning you just got in town. It was about noon when I got to my hotel. I went up to the second floor and unlocked my door. They were sitting on the bed. Their coats were off, and they'd hung them on the back of a chair. The same two boys had given me the envelope last night.
Got a real hot room here, Kelly. You ought to move off this cord.
Yeah, next time I'll get twin beds.
Is everything all right with that envelope?
It made a murder, mister. You take it.
Put it back in your pocket.
Now get this, both of you. There's a lot of something wrong here. I've had my turn. You find yourself another fall guy. There's a lot of inside coat pockets in this town. Look for a new one.
We like yours, and that's where it's going to stay. Now, you don't listen good. Me and Dex put it out last night, and you didn't pick up on it. We got you on board, and we'll tell you when to get off.
6 o'clock, boy.
How long do you think this jag will last? Look, I'm cashing in. I've had enough.
What were you doing this morning, trying to pray your way out?
The priest wanted a favor.
I got it, Lon.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in. No, he's busy. From 2 to 5. Sure, come on up.
Benny.
You went for it, huh?
On his way up. We're going to stay a while, Kelly.
Well, there's only 3 chairs. I'll make it easy for you.
Stay put, mister.
No, he's your friend. I'm checking out.
First time you've been right.
Well, it happened so fast I didn't even see his arm move. My knees buckled and I pitched forward. I don't know how long I laid there, but when I opened my eyes, the afternoon sun was almost gone. What was left of it was bleeding through a rip in the blind. Well, I could hear somebody breathing hard like a fat man on a hot day, and when I rolled over, I saw him. A tough prohibition agent by the name of Cage. The weather didn't make any difference to Cage. He always looked that way. His collar was wilted, and it looked like Arrow's first try. His necktie was pulled down, and the knot was twisted. The heat had worked him over so that the front of his shirt was splotchy and damp. Reminded you of a first grader's map of the world. He was sitting in a chair with his arms draped over the back and his head resting on his hands. He was smoking a Milo Violet, but it didn't help that much. His mouth was wound around a toothy grin, and he looked like a mountain lion who'd just eaten her young.
You can get up now, Kelly. You made your point.
Yeah, sure. How long you been here?
Long enough to fill out your booking slip. You're going to jail, mister.
What for? Sleeping on the floor?
For the dead guy on the bed. Who is he?
I don't know. How'd he get there?
You put him there after you shot him. Now get your hat.
Look, Prohibition's your racket. Dead bodies are out of your line.
Not when I find him in your room. Now let's go downtown. We'll both tell homicide. We'll find the details later.
Gage, you couldn't find yourself in a mirror. I didn't have anything to do with this, and you know it. I've been out for the last 3 hours. This happened after they slugged me.
Save it for the jury. All I know is I got a phone tip to check room 205. I come up here and I find you and a dead guy. That's all I need. You can dress it up fancy and make it look cute, but it still comes out murder.
There's enough liquor in this town to float it away, and you're wasting your time with a killing. It's none of your business.
You're my business, big shot. Somebody put 2 pounds of lead in Benny's chest, and you're my pick.
Benny who?
Benny Davis. He worked for Mike Quinlan. You look pale.
Yeah, I'm just beginning to feel the squeeze. Mike Quinlan on one side and those 2 trigger men that you let walk out of here on the other.
You got it, and I'll be turning a handle.
Well, before you start worrying about your picture in the paper, you better turn up the 2 guys that were here with me.
That part of the same dream?
They gave me an envelope to hold for them. The price on it's going up by the minute. A 9-year-old kid died for it, and this guy here on the bed.
That's a good story. Do you write him down or just make him up?
Look, you got nothing on me, and I haven't got much time. I'm leaving you.
That's all right. I call downtown. The minute you hit the street, they'll pick you up.
In the meantime, you better come up with more than you got. They don't hang you in this state on a hunch.
I'm going to check this room over. I'll find all we need.
You couldn't find your head with both hands. Goodbye, Cage.
All right, you got till midnight, big shot, and then I'll be around.
Yeah.
I'll have it all set up. All we'll need is time to run the extra.
Well, I could have used a cold shower, but with Cage there, I didn't have the room to dry off. I went down the hall and headed down the back stairs. I figured even if Cage was right about calling downtown, I might have an edge if I moved fast enough. The sun was on the downgrade, but it didn't make any difference. It'd done a good job all day, and the heat was boiling up out of the ground. If I was going to come out at all, I had to have some help. So I started to look for the only honest guy I know, an ex-bootlegger by the name of Barney Ricketts. The only bootlegger in the country that went broke in 1922. He drank himself out of business. I phoned 8 different places and tried 4. Nobody'd seen him. I was about ready to give up when I finally found him sitting in the middle of a bourbon fog in a little Spanish joint somewhere on the edge of the East Bottoms. He was sitting at a back table trying his best to make time with a plaster bust of Queen Isabella.
P.T., my boy, you're just in time. I'm not quite certain, but I think the young lady here has a friend.
I got to talk to you, Barney.
If you're any good at all with Spanish, now is the time. I was positive she'd loosen up on this second bottle of wine, but no, she's utterly uncharitable, and I think she's a picture of a perfect boy.
Yeah, all right, Barney.
To a member of the old Castilian school, there can be no excuse for the conduct she's exhibiting.
Yeah.
Why, do you know I was even good enough to buy her 3 rounds of Portuguese brandy? Imported, mind you. But what do I get for my pains? Not even a civil thank you.
All right, listen to me, will you, Barney?
I've been sitting here in the most gentlemanly fashion, sipping this delicate nectar and trying vainly to keep the party going. But does she help? No! I've talked to her about politics, medicine, literature, Keats, Byron, Shelley, Faith Baldwin. I've even talked about the weather.
Barney, she's a statue.
Oh, a simple oversight, P.T. It could happen to anyone.
Now, look, I'm in trouble.
Of course you're in trouble. You'll always be in trouble because you're a child of adversity, a son of scorn. The fate spit in your eye and you try to retaliate, but the wind's always blowing in the wrong direction. You're a lost leaf in the mortal storm, Petey. You're a pebble shaking a tiny fist at the mountain. You'd like to fight for some strange, fantastic cause, wouldn't you? But you can't find anybody your size. Men are too small and the gods are too big. Petey, you're lost.
Are you all through now?
Yes. What kind of trouble?
A pair of bum murder raps. Somebody slugged me in my room, and I woke up with a dead guy.
Dubious honor. You mentioned 2 murders.
One of them was an altar boy over at St. Timothy's. The other guy worked for Mike Quinlan.
The same Quinlan that controls most of the Canadian import here in town?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, time's short. Let's finish the brandy.
2 guys started all this at the club last night. Names are Ludd and Dex. Mean anything to you?
This'll all sound better with more brandy. You picked 2 of Quinlan's first string. Ludd Sandell and Dex Porter, both killers.
Look, they gave me an envelope to hang on to. Now, nose around. See if you can find out what it all means. The dead guy up in my room, his name's Benny Davis. See if you can find out where he fits in, will you?
It'd be a lot simpler if you just joined Quinlan's gang. Benny Davis holds a card in the same organization.
Well, how about Ludd and Dex? Any bad blood between them and
If
Davis?
there is, it doesn't show. They're closer than unborn peas.
You sure about that, Barney?
Police blotter can't be that wrong. Benny's sister will tell you the same thing.
Where do I find her?
Chelsea Apartments. Beautiful girl, Petey. When you're my age, she'll disturb your memories.
All right, now get going, will you? See how close you can get to Quinlan's headquarters. Find out what you can about Ludd and Dex and Benny Davis. Maybe Quinlan's got him on a special job or something. Find out what it is, will you?
You'll find me in a temporary economic slump, Petey. I'll need car fare.
Yeah, well, that makes 2 of us. I'm broke. You'll have to do it on foot.
Oh, well, I have friends here, and my credit's unlimited.
Well, hurry up, will you, Barney?
One moment. Alfonso, would you loan me $1.50?
Come on, let's go.
He's only bluffing. He won't shoot.
Well, Barney headed down toward Bale Street from Mike Quinlan's place, and I started cross town for the North End and the Chelsea Apartments. I couldn't begin to work it out. If Dex and Ludd were such good friends with Benny Davis, why did they kill him? And if they didn't do it, who planted his body in my room and why? Well, I was running way late, and there wasn't much time to catch up. I finally found the Chelsea Apartments on the corner of Stocker and Bales, with an old 3-story wooden frame. I checked the mailbox, and Louise Davis was down for apartment 17. Well, inside, the hallway was dark, and a couple of gas jets were smoking up the ceiling. There was a potted palm by the foot of the stairs, and it looked like it was growing out of old gum wrappers and cigar butts. Apartment 17 was at the rear of the first floor. She answered the door, and you could tell right away Barney was right. She was pretty, and she had enough smile to last you for years.
Yes?
You Louise Davis?
That's right. I can do better for you. You're Pete Kelly. I've heard you play.
Yeah, well, so far you're batting 1,000. Can I come in?
Yeah, sure. You didn't bring your band, so it must be a social call.
I'll make this short. It's about Benny.
What about him?
That's what I want to know. He's got a couple of friends. I got to know about him.
Then he isn't that popular. You mean Ludd and Dex?
They'll do. They got trouble, and they're cutting me in.
What kind of trouble?
Well, I'm not sure. That's why I came to you.
I can't help you. They never tell me what they're doing.
Well, they gave me an envelope. They told me to hold it till 6 o'clock tonight.
You haven't got any problem. You'll know in an hour.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm tired. I want to know now. I'll take any lead you got.
They found out I told you this. They might not like it. They got some kind of a beef with Quinlan.
Does Mike know about it?
I wouldn't know. I just heard him talking one night. They're not happy with the money Quinlan gives them.
They got any plans?
I don't think we've got to talk about this. Let me get you a drink, huh?
Now, look, this is the last trip around for me, lady. I got to have everything you know.
You said something about an envelope, didn't you?
That's right.
You got it?
Right here.
If you open it, you'll understand everything.
Well, they gave it to me sealed. They want it back the same way.
If you want to be around to give it back, you'd better open it.
You got a guarantee handy?
All I know is the 3 of them are working on something big. I don't know what it is, but I heard some talk about an envelope. It's your choice. You asked for a lead and you got it.
Yeah, we'll hold hands when they cut me down. You got to let her open it?
Pete, look out!
Well, it all happened faster than a Mexican divorce. Louise Davis was dead before the echo left the room. Well, I got to the window, but whoever did the shooting was gone. I grabbed the envelope, and on my way out, I took another look at her. There wasn't anything left but the smile. I cut through a couple of back lots and down an alley. I stopped in the doorway and opened the envelope. Inside was a handful of typewritten sheets. Looked like a lot of headache for 5 pieces of paper. And then the bell rang. 2 of them were consignment slips for 8,000 gallons of high-grade Canadian whiskey. The other 3 slips were detailed breakdowns for a convoy of trucks. They showed special truck routes over the Canadian border into the States to miss the hijackers and the prohibition agents. They showed a day-by-day schedule for each truck on its trip down from the border. Well, it's not too tough to hijack a load of booze, but when you got it laid out right down to the time, the place, and how many bottles, it's like money in the bank. So I knew right then why the envelope meant so much to Ludd and Dex. What I couldn't understand was where they got it. Why they gave it to me to hang on to. Well, maybe they were working for Quinlan, but why didn't he have the papers, and why weren't they in his safe? Mike had a big one. Well, the questions were still piling up. There was an outside chance, but I couldn't stand still, so I crossed over to the Kansas side and headed down Boulder Road to Fat Annie's place. Maggie Jackson did 2 things good. She sang the blues better than the guy who wrote them, and she could pick up an idle rumor at 3 miles.
Hi, Pete.
Maggie, what do you know?
I knew you'd be here tonight. You always come in together. Trouble and Pete Kelly.
Yeah, I know. I never come around except when I need something.
As long as I have it to give, you got it. It's Mike Quinlan this time, ain't it?
Well, that's part of it. I'm in it up to my ears.
You got an envelope, I heard.
Yeah?
Mike Quinlan and some of his boys have been here about an hour ago. They tore the paper off the walls looking for you and Dex and Ludd.
Dex and Ludd?
Mike wants all 3 of you.
Yeah? Anything else?
No. Bonnie Ricketts called for you.
Did he leave a number?
He's still waiting on the phone. I took the call. He said you'd end up here, so he just hung on.
Well, I'll get it right now.
Yeah, the boss is kind of mad. The phone's been tied up for 2 hours.
All right, thanks, Maggie.
Sure, and good luck, Pete.
Hello, Barney?
There you are, Petey.
That'll be $1.25 for another 3 minutes.
Yes, all right, operator. Alfonso, 5 more quarters, please. No, the quarters. Just a minute, Petey. Alfonso doesn't know the quarters from the house.
Yeah, well, hurry up.
Thank you.
Now then, Pete. No, Alfonso, no more money for the moment.
What's going on, Barney? Where are you?
Fort Madison, Iowa. I'm troubleshooting for you, Pete.
Well, what'd you find out?
It's a double cross. Mike Quinlan's involved in one of the biggest deals of his career, and Benny Davis, along with Dex and Ludd, stole the consignment papers.
Yeah, I know. That's what's in the envelope.
You better get them back to Quinlan. I understand he's been tearing up the town for him.
Well, what do I do about Dex and Ludd?
She might easily end up like Benny Davis, since Ludd and Dex didn't want to split it 3 ways, so they killed him.
You sure about all this?
That's why I'm up here in Iowa. I suggest that you join us.
No, I'll see you when you get back.
It's been a gay, mad world, Petey. We drove 60 miles an hour all the way up here.
Yeah?
Alfonso's drunk. He thinks the phone's a slot machine. He's waiting for the payoff.
Well, as soon as I hung up the phone, everything fell into place. I had one big worry, to get back to the club and unload those papers before Quinlan caught up with me. Well, almost everything made sense now, except the killing of Louise Davis, Benny's sister. It was easy to see why they dropped Benny along the way, but why his sister? How did she tie in? Well, on the way back to town, I mulled over a couple of possibilities, and I figured maybe I came up with the answer. I started back for town, and it was rough all the way. I kept thinking any minute I'd bump into Mike Quinlan, and I couldn't be sure that I'd lost Dex and Ludd. It was almost dark by the time I got back to the club. The band was waiting around for the Sunday rehearsal. We ran through one number, and then things got cloudy.
Now, Kelly.
You're early, Dex.
Close enough.
No, not for me. You said 6 o'clock.
Your horn's no match for this gun. Give me the envelope.
6 o'clock, Dex. All right. Let's try someday, sweetheart. Hand me that plunger, will you, Red? I'll give you the pickup. see you at 10.
You going to give me that envelope, or do I blow it out of your pocket?
The same way you handled Louise Davis?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do. You killed her and you killed her brother.
You got it all figured out, haven't you, kid?
The horn player's right, Dex. Don't turn around.
You got it wrong, Lud.
I don't think so. I never should have let you kill Benny. That should have been the tip-off, and that kid in the church and Benny's sister. You had to make the big try.
It was for me and you, Lud.
It won't wash. You're going to die, Dex. Pick a spot to lay down.
Not in the back, Lud. You'd give me a better chance than that.
Would I?
Look out, Lud.
Like I said, Dex, pick a spot. Well, that wraps it up, Kelly.
You better sit down, Lud.
No, this'll do. It won't be a long wait. I don't mind standing.
Suit yourself. 6 o'clock, Lud. Here's your envelope.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hello, Pete.
Hi, Father.
Just going to stop by. I heard the gunshots and knew you'd be around.
Well, let me tell you again, Father. I'm sorry about Jake. I don't know what else to say. I'm just sorry.
I believe you. We'll have the funeral for little Jake tomorrow. Maybe you want to stop by.
Yeah. Some things never figure. A 9-year-old kid shot down. No reason for it. None in the world. 9-year-old kid.
It's done, Pete. Don't waste your pity on little Jake. He's got a big lead on both of us.
I don't get you, Father.
You and I should die as good as a 9-year-old.
Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Jim Moser and music by Dick Cathcart. Scoring by Matty Matlock.
The music of Pete Kelly's Big Seven consists of Dick Cathcart on cornet, Matty Matlock on clarinet, Nick Fatul on drums, Ray Sherman on piano, George Van Epps on guitar, Judd Donat on bass, Mo Schneider on trombone. The songs of Maggie Jackson were written by Arthur Hamilton. Pete Kelly's Blues is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Dragnet. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. You get a call from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. A 2-year-old child has been brought in. Her condition is critical. There's evidence of foul play. Your job, check it out.
It was Sunday, August 14th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from detention cells, and it was 7:28 p.m. when I got to the second floor of Georgia Street Juvenile. Squad room.
Hi, how'd it go?
Nothing. Those kids won't cop to a thing.
What about the weapons?
They only admit they had them, and that's all.
Nothing about what they were going to do with them.
No.
I don't know, Joe. today, kids got a lot more than we ever had. TV, cars, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Still seems like they aren't happy unless they're figuring how to beat somebody's brains out.
Well, it doesn't go for all of them.
Well, enough to give us a headache.
Yeah.
And take those kids upstairs. If they spent the same time doing something constructive that they do making the zip guns and saps, they'd have something worthwhile, something worth remembering.
Well, maybe it'll work out the same way.
What do you mean?
They won't forget this. You and old Friday. Yeah, Doc. When'd she come in? Anybody with her? Give me that again, will you? Yeah, I got it. Okay. We'll check it. That's right. We'll get back to you later. Thanks, Doc. Bye. It's Dr. Sebastian.
Yeah?
Just brought a little girl into emergency. Had convulsions.
How's she doing?
Dead on arrival. Frank and I notified Homicide Division, then we left the office and drove out to the address I'd gotten on the phone. 1784 Malabar Street was a small wooden house set on the back of the lot. A dead oak tree in the front yard was overgrown with ivy. Several broken and rusted children's toys were half hidden in the weeds near the front porch. We rang the front doorbell.
Somebody ought to be home. The lights are on.
Let's try it again. Yeah, somebody's coming.
Yes,
Miss Manson?
that's right. What do you want?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
We have to go through it all again. Don't you think I feel bad enough?
We're sorry to bother you, ma'am, but there's some questions we have to ask you.
All right, come on in. You might as well sit down.
Thank you. Thank you. This is Frank Smith, and my name's Friday.
How do you do, Miss Manson?
Hello.
You're the child's aunt, is that right?
Yeah, her mother's my sister.
And where's her mother?
I don't know. Been trying to get in touch with her. Left messages all over town, but I guess she ain't got any of them.
The child stayed with you, does she?
Yeah. Been here since she was 6 months old. Feel like she was my own.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 kids myself, all boys. Always wanted a girl. When Joan said I could have Melissa, it made me feel real good. Like a daughter of my own, real good.
Mm-hmm.
Knew it didn't make any difference to Joan. None at all. Wasn't anything that mattered much to her. I always thought Melissa was something that shouldn't have happened. In the way, that's what she said.
Yes, ma'am.
In the way.
Mm-hmm. What happened this evening?
What do you mean?
Well, you're the one who called the hospital, aren't you?
Yeah. As soon as I knew there was something wrong, called them.
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened?
Well, this is Sunday.
Yes.
Every Sunday morning, Joan comes by and picks up Melissa, takes her for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just like always, she was here this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Going to be a big day. She told the baby they were going up to Griffith Park to the zoo, see the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we all sat around and ate. My kids, and baby and Joan, and the kids went to get dressed.
Yeah.
After she was dressed, they left. Joan and Melissa going to the zoo on the ride. Real big day, real big.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 they came back.
That's this evening?
Yeah, 6 o'clock. The baby didn't look real good, kind of hot and flushed.
Yeah.
I asked Joan if she'd given her a lot of junk. She said no, nothing but it hurt her. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Just came in the house and then she left. Said she had an appointment, that she couldn't be late. Just dumped the baby inside the house and walked out.
I see.
I gave her a bath. Thought it might make her feel better. She was running a little fever. Warm bath's supposed to bring down her temperature. Didn't do any good at all. I asked her if she was hungry. She said she was, so I gave her some dinner. Had no more than taken one bite, and she had the first sip.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting right there at the table, and she had it. I didn't know what to do. Never had nothing happen like that before. I didn't know what to give her.
Did you call the doctor?
Yeah. We don't have a telephone, so I went down to the corner. There's a booth at the gas station.
Yeah.
Didn't want to leave the baby alone, but there wasn't any other way. Nothing else I could do.
All right. We'll help her.
Doctor wasn't at home. I left word for him to come right over, and then I came back. Didn't no sooner walk into the house than she had another fit. Scared me to death. Poor little thing sitting there. I could see she was in pain, terrible pain, and there wasn't anything I could do for her.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't wait anymore. I went back and called the emergency hospital, asked them to send an ambulance. Told them it was important and to send somebody right away. A couple of minutes after that, the men got here and took her away. Poor little thing.
Yes, ma'am.
She looked at me, like asking me to stop the pain, begging me, almost tore my heart right out of my chest to see her so little. Almost killed me.
Yes.
She was dead when they got her there. Didn't even live long enough for them to try and save her. Not even that long.
Yes, ma'am, we know.
Just a baby. 2 years old and she's dead. Just a tiny little baby. It hardly seems fair. A lot of people could die and it wouldn't make any difference, but not her. She was
sure there isn't something we can get for you, Miss Nancy?
No, nothing. Isn't anything that'll help now. Nothing at all.
Now, ma'am, has there been any history of this type of attack in your family?
You mean fit?
Epilepsy? Anything of that nature?
No, never been anything like that.
Well, now, did the child tell you that she felt sick?
Mm-mm. We didn't have no idea there was something wrong until it was too late.
Did she complain of stomach cramps, do you remember?
No, she didn't.
What'd you have for dinner?
Ground meat, potatoes, the green beans. Couldn't have been that made her sick. We all ate the same thing. The kids and me, none of us had any trouble.
Is your sister separated from her husband?
Yeah, they hadn't been together for over a year. Been that long anyway, I suppose. He's supposed to contribute support, but he doesn't, not a dime.
I see. Did she provide support for the little girl?
She was the baby's mother, but that's as far as it went. Came to town from Melissa and it landed in my lap. Remember when she had roseola? Joan didn't even come over and see her. Just didn't care. Mailed a little doll for the baby. Guess that was supposed to make up for her mother not being there.
Can you tell us where we can contact your sister?
Sure. Place over on Hewitt Street. Got an apartment there.
You have the address?
Yeah. Won't do much good to go over there, though.
Why's that?
She probably ain't home. Chances are she's out someplace running around having a good time.
I see.
Don't even know that baby's dead. Hasn't got the slightest idea.
But we'll go and see her.
Hope you won't mind waiting for her to show up. You're going to have to. Probably wait a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
She don't care about the baby. Never did. Told me a couple of times. Just a rock around her neck. Talked about how hard it was for her to get a husband with a kid. All the time how the baby was making it hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
All she ever thought about herself. Didn't want anything to interfere with that. Just herself. She won't care about the baby. She won't care at all. Probably won't even talk to you.
I think she will.
Why should she? No reason for her to even see you.
Yes, there is.
What?
We're trying to find out why the child died.
Oh, she just got sick, that's all. Isn't anything more to it. Melissa just got sick.
You seem pretty sure about it.
Of course I am. Couldn't be anything else. You think there was anything else? You think there was something wrong?
We don't know yet.
Well, then talk to Joan. Ask her. Anything wrong with Melissa that happened today? She ought to be able to tell you. Talk to her.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we'll do.
Hope it does you some good. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if she knows what had happened.
What's that?
She's probably got an idea. I wouldn't want her to know I told you this.
What do you mean?
If there's something wrong with the way Melissa died, if there is...
Yes, ma'am.
It wouldn't surprise me if Joan killed her.
Frank and I left the house and drove over to the apartment on Hewitt Street. The name on the mailbox read Joan Guyman. We rang the bell, but there was no answer. We talked to the landlady, Mrs. Enid Findon. She told us that the Guyman woman had left the place about 7:15 in the company of a man, and she hadn't returned. We asked her what she could tell us about Miss Guyman.
It's kind of hard to say right off. She's funny, you know how I mean?
No, ma'am.
Well, there's a lot of people who don't like her, lots of them. They think she's kind of wild, the way she runs around, partying up. You'll hear a lot of talk about her. Got to kind of make up your own mind about it.
Mm-hmm. You any idea where we can find her?
No, could be in half a dozen places. If she starts on a run, she's liable not to slow down for a couple of days.
You know the man she's with?
Sorry, I can't help you there. I've seen him before, but not many times. I don't think Joan goes out with him much.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong?
No.
Something happened to Joan?
No, ma'am.
Must be some reason you're nosing around. Anything you want to tell me?
It might be a little better if we talk to Miss Guyman.
That's the way you want it. I ain't going to pry into something don't concern me.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever met Mrs. Guyman's little girl?
You mean Melissa?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Two of them been here several times. Sundays, you know, Joan has a little girl.
How they seem to get along.
What?
Miss Guyman and her daughter. How they get along.
Well, you said it yourself. Melissa's her daughter.
Yeah.
What have you heard?
Huh?
Somebody's been talking about how Joan treats the kid.
Well, maybe you better tell her.
I don't want to get her in no trouble. You understand that?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be down here watching the television, maybe doing some ironing, and I'd hear Joan yell at the baby. Loud. She used words a kid shouldn't hear, not that young.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, not that those kind of words are ever good for a youngster, but sure not for one only 2 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway, she'd yell for a while, then it'd be quiet. Well, she hit the kid a couple times. Things calmed down.
Now, do you know if Mrs. Guyman ever hit her daughter?
Well, sure. I saw it with my own eyes. We had words about it. Well, Joan told me to mind my own business. Said to keep my nose where it belonged. Told me how Melissa was her kid, and if she thought a slap would do some good, she was going to give it.
Mm-hmm.
She did. Only a couple of times they weren't slaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like this. With a closed fist. Hit her right along here. Right above the ear. A couple times in the face. Oh, I'd give her a black eye myself, sure.
Does Mr. Guyman see his wife?
Not that I know. He said a couple of times that he doesn't. I don't think she even knows where he is. Kind of sad, you know.
Yeah?
What happened? That's how all the trouble started. Mr. Diamond. Both of them used to live here when they got married. First off, they seemed pretty happy. Didn't have no idea there was anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the baby was born, the trouble started. Wasn't long before the whole building knew about it. Of course, there was a couple of people who had an idea before.
What's that?
About her.
Yeah?
Oh, running around, down to the bars, drinking, talking with other men. Now, I'm not a prude. Never been anybody who could say that about me. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't believe in married women doing it. Not them.
That's what caused the trouble, then, huh?
You just put it down to that. Oh, my, they had some big arguments. Big ones. Hear them all over the building. All over the block, I guess, if he was listening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't long after that he walked out on her. Left her flat with a baby.
I see.
Packed right up and moved out. Even took his photograph records, everything. Don't think she's seen him since.
Well, are they divorced, do you know?
I don't know about that. A couple times she's talked about getting one. I don't think she's ever gone through with it.
I see.
No, she's planning on it.
Okay.
She wants to get married again. Told me that 100 times, how she wants to find a man and settle down. Just about all she talks about. Guess the big problem is Melissa.
What do you mean?
Well, I know she's had the chance. I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the men have even talked to me about it. About how they want to marry Joan. Build a home for her. All comes back to the same thing.
What's that?
The kid. None of the men want a ready-made family. They're all willing to have one of their own, but it ain't easy for a woman with a 2-year-old child. Not easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know she thought a couple of times about leaving the kid with her sister. Some kind of problem there, too. Seems they're always fighting about it.
Do you know what the arguments were about?
Sure. Joan's sister didn't think she was doing enough to support the kid, you know. Figured she ought to have more money.
Any of these quarrels ever get violent?
Yeah, I heard them upstairs, yelling and screaming at each other. Almost as bad as Joan and her husband. Sister saying that either she had to hand over more money or else take Melissa out of the house. Joan saying that she didn't care what happened to the kid, yelling all over the place. Terrible way they carried on.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest about it, I don't think either one of them really wanted the little girl. Neither one of them.
Is that right?
Both been just as happy if she'd never been born. Poor little kid. Wonder they didn't try to put her in another home, you know. Find some people who wanted her. Would have given her a chance to grow up being loved.
That's right.
At least they could have done, given the little kid a chance. Oh, I don't know. Maybe someday Joan will wake up, realize what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she will.
Let's hope it's not too late. In the company of the manager, Frank and I checked Joan Guyman's room. There was no indication that she wasn't going to return. We asked Miss Findon to notify us as soon as she heard from the Guyman woman. We returned to the office and checked with the crime lab. They'd finished going over the child's clothing, and they hadn't found anything out of order. We put in a call to the coroner's office, and we talked to Chief Deputy Coroner Vic Wallage. He told us that the autopsy would be held at 10 a.m. the following morning, and that we should have the results by 11. He went on to say that in his examination of Melissa Guyman, he'd found several bruises on her neck and back. However, he was unable to tell us if the blows might have been strong enough to cause her death. 12:16 a.m., we ran the names Joan Guyman and her sister through R&I. There was no record on the sister, but we found that the Guyman woman had been arrested several times in the last year on charges of 4127A, drunk. The rest of the night was spent in checking out the places she was known to have frequented. An attempt was made to find her husband without result. The next day, Frank and I met in the squad room early to put through a call to the coroner's office. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about the bruises? I see. How long's that going to take? Right. We'll keep in touch with you. Okay. Bye.
How about it?
They finished.
What's the cause of death?
They're still not sure.
What do you mean?
They think she might have been poisoned. The autopsy had failed to show the cause of death of Melissa Guyman. Further tests were to be conducted. In the meantime, the search for her mother continued. A check with the landlady showed the victim's mother hadn't returned to her home during the night. We contacted her sister, but she told us she hadn't heard from Joan Guyman. The afternoon papers carried a story on the little girl's death. Frank and I checked with Sergeant J. Allen again, but he hadn't come up with anything new. 3:20 p.m.
You want to go out and see the sister?
I don't think it's going to do much good. She said she'd call if she heard anything.
Yeah. I got it. You have an old spare? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have. Well, where are you? All right, stay right there. That's right. Huh? As soon as we can. Joan Guyman.
Where is she?
Bar down East 5th.
She know about the little girl?
Yeah, wants to see us right away.
Well, it makes us even.
She's got more of a reason. Says she killed her daughter.
Frank
Frank and I left the city hall and drove over to the bar. When we walked into the place, it appeared to be deserted. The bartender told us there was a woman answering the description we gave him in one of the rear booths. Joan Guyman was in her late 20s, but she looked at least 40. She'd been drinking heavily, and she'd been crying.
Yeah? Somebody you're looking for?
You're Miss Guyman?
That's right. Who are you?
Police officers. Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Yeah. I knew you'd be here. You look good. Why don't you sit right down and make yourself comfortable? Which one of you fellas I talked to?
He talked to me.
Yeah. Well, then you know why I asked you to come down here.
Yes, ma'am. You want to tell us about it?
No.
How's that?
You asked me if I wanted to talk about it. Well, I don't. I don't even want to think about it. I wish it never happened.
Is that right?
You probably think it's funny I'm not crying, don't you? Don't you? You think there's something wrong with me? My baby's dead and I'm not crying? Well, do you want to know why? You want to know?
Why don't you tell us, lady?
Because there ain't no tears left. Not a single one. I'm all cried out. That's why.
You better put that down. You've had enough of that.
I think I would have a lot more. A lot more.
You said you killed your little girl, is that right?
That's right.
Well, tell us about it, will you?
No reason not to. No reason for anything anymore.
Well, all right, go ahead.
I killed her. I killed her. It's like I'd put a gun up to her head. I killed her. Is this the same?
Go ahead.
Oh, poor old kid. She didn't want much. Hardly anything. One of those dolls with the hair you can wave, that's all. The doll with curly hair and her mother. And she got the doll. I gave it to her yesterday when we came back from the zoo. It's just seeing how happy she was.
Yeah.
She was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I wouldn't give her. No mother. Poor little kid. She doesn't have no mother. Just me, that's all. It's me.
Yeah.
Yes, I did it.
What's that?
Killed her. If I'd been her mother and kept her with me, it never would have happened. She'd be all right now. Neglect. That's what did it. Neglect. And I gave it to her. Never paid no attention to her. All the time, too busy with what I was doing. I didn't pay any attention to her. I didn't pay any attention at all.
All right, come on, lady.
Where are we going?
Downtown.
What for?
I think we'll be able to talk better there.
Oh, I don't want to go anyplace. I'm going to stay right here. My baby is dead. Poor little kid didn't have no mother. Why don't you just go away and leave me alone?
You know we can't do that.
Why not? There are a lot of something that says you gotta harm people. Is that what you're doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. You leave me alone. You got no right to do this to me. Bartender! Come on back here and help. These lousy cops are giving me trouble. Help me.
Come on, lady. You're only making it harder on yourself.
Leave me alone. Get away from me.
Come on, don't cause any more trouble.
If you were a gentleman, you wouldn't do this to me.
If you were a lady, we wouldn't have to. We took the woman back to the city hall. After several cups of hot coffee, she straightened out enough to give us a story. She went over each step of the previous day, naming all the places she and her daughter had gone and all of the foods they'd eaten. There was no apparent cause for the child's death. In talking to her, we found that the child was wearing different clothing when she was brought to the hospital. Frank and I drove out to Mrs. Guyman's sister's home and picked up the dress and the coat the little girl had worn. It was turned over to the crime lab, 2:15 p.m. Funeral Friday. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to check it. Right. Yeah, as soon as we know. Right. Ray paper over at the lab.
Yeah.
Just finished going over the little girl's dress.
Find anything?
Yeah, a couple of stains.
Yeah.
Traces of poison. Along with the crew from the crime lab, Frank, Mrs. Guyman, and I went back to her apartment where a thorough search was started. From the analysis of the stains found on the child's dress, Sergeant J. Allen said the death might have been caused by minute quantities of poison in another fluid. While he and his crew went over the apartment, Frank and I talked to Mrs. Guyman.
Couldn't be anything here.
Was the child alone at all yesterday?
No, I don't think so. We went to the zoo and came back here. Gave her the doll, and we played with that for a while.
Mm-hmm. Did you leave the apartment at all?
Yeah. Went down to the corner to make a phone call. Only gone a couple of minutes.
Your daughter was here alone then?
Yes, but she couldn't have gotten into anything. I was only gone a little while. I was still playing with the doll when I got back.
Miss Guyman, our crime lab seems to think she might have been poisoned by some sort of polish.
Well, what do you mean?
Looks like a metal polish of some kind.
I don't have any of that in the house.
You sure?
Certainly. I don't know, my place. They have to tear everything up like this.
It'll all be straightened out.
I hope so. Seems like there's never going to be an end to it.
Joe?
Yeah, Jack.
See you, man?
Mm-hmm. What do you got?
I think this is her found out in the kitchen under the sink.
Metal polish.
Yeah.
Isn't one of the standard brands. Certainly isn't one of the off brands either, is it?
I've never seen it before.
Wow.
The bottle's almost empty. Cap was off when we found it.
Any chance it might have spilled out?
No, it doesn't look like it. Not on the floor around the bottle. You want to come out in the kitchen? We'll check it for prints. All right. They got the kid out there.
All right. Can you tell for sure, Jay?
No, we can get an idea, though. There, Joe. It's coming through. You see there?
Yeah. What do you think?
Have to roll the child's prints to be sure. Looks like it, though. The fingers are pretty small. There you can see yourself. Pretty tiny.
I guess that does it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Jay.
What'd they find? You know how it happened?
We think so, yeah.
How?
We found an empty bottle of metal polish in the kitchen. Looks like your daughter drank some of it.
She couldn't have. I was with her all the time. She couldn't have gotten to it.
You said you left her alone.
But not that long. She didn't have time. I was only gone a couple of minutes. That's all. Just a couple of minutes.
That was long enough.
It's not true. Just making it up, trying to make it all my fault.
No, ma'am.
Yes, you are. You're trying to make out I did kill her. You're saying it's my fault. Well, it isn't.
Well, then you tell us.
Huh?
Whose fault is it?
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 18th, an inquest was held in the coroner's office in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. After examining all the evidence, a coroner's jury decided that the death of Melissa June Guyman was due to accidental poisoning.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Novak, for hire.
Sure. I'm Pat Novak. For hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak for hire. Down on the waterfront in San Francisco, billing doesn't mean much. Everybody's got the same act. They're all out to turn a fast buck, and when you're in business down here, everything but murder is a parlor trick. Once in a while, your eyelids get sore from winking it too much, but it's a living. You get to meet the best people in town. There's only one hooker. You're liable to wake up some morning dead. Because around the waterfront, you don't need a union card for trouble. It sneaks up and paws you like a wet ghost. I found that out when I met Bruno Weiss. I closed up early Tuesday night, and I went home to catch up on last month's sleep. I don't know how long I was in bed. Must have been about 11 when I woke up. The room was dark and as stale as last year's Christmas candy. I had the goofy feeling that somebody was in the room with me. I was breathing kind of hard, and I stopped to have a listen. Somebody was sitting on my bed. Either that or the landlord had put in an echo. I listened again.
Hello, Novak.
You're mixed up, friend. I pay the rent here.
Get your hands away from the light, Novak. Just be a good boy, and you can collect your old age pension.
Now, look, I'm not crazy about waking up with strangers sitting on my bed, especially if they got baritone voices. Now, say your piece and beat it.
Don't get jumpy, mister. When your eyes get used to the dark, you're going to see a gun about a foot away from your nostrils. I want the keys to your boat, Novak.
Get them in the morning at $25 a smell.
I want them now. Just tell me where they are. I'll do the rest.
Don't get big-hearted.
I don't want chatter and cocktails. I want those keys. Unless you want your face to look like a rump roast, you'll start talking.
The keys are in the bottom drawer of the desk.
That's the boy. Gonna borrow your boat a while. You'll get it back by noon tomorrow. There's the boat keys.
2 of them are. The rest open the front door of the U.S. Mint.
Sorry I can't stay around, Novak. You sound like a card. Sleep tight, Novak. This will have to do for a lullaby.
He didn't even give me time to pick a dream. I stretched out on the floor as dead as a Philadelphia nightclub. I don't know how long I stayed out of the ball game. Must have been a couple of hours, because when the phone rang, it was past midnight. I reached over to pick it up, but my hands were as steady as a maple leaf in a hurricane, and my head was big enough to sell by the pound. I finally found it in the dark and started talking. Hello?
Hello, Novak. This is Joe Powers down at Pier 19. You awake?
Sure.
You just sound groggy.
Oh, it's a sedative. What's on your mind?
One of your boats just drifted in. Guess what?
I don't have to. It's smashed up, and you want to offer me $50 salvage.
Hey, that's right, Novak. You're psychic.
I'm a patsy, you mean? Some gunsel borrowed the boat a couple of hours ago. Came in here, told me a bedtime story, and took the keys.
Well, you better hop right down here.
It'll keep, Joe.
No, it won't. Hurry up or you'll run a dead heat with homicide. There's a dead guy in the boat.
Well, it must be my playmate.
I don't know. He didn't say. But you better grab a cab and get on down here. There's going to be a lot of questions.
Sure. If you meet any good answers, save a couple for me. From now on, there was no waste motion. I knew that. If homicide was on the case, that meant Inspector Hellman. Well, he's a real nice guy, if you like his type. I had to do something soon. If I didn't, I'd have about as much chance as a pound of liver at a cat show. So I jumped into some clothes, and I was starting out of the apartment when I missed my wallet. The keys were attached, and that gunsel had taken the whole works. I began to get mad. For $70, you can get a Scotch hangover instead of the kind I had. And if you're lucky, a couple of good memories. So when I drew up at Pier 19, it didn't look like the sunny side of the street. Joe Powers was waiting for me.
You got the first round, Patsy. Homicide hasn't showed yet.
I'm full of luck tonight. Where's the boat?
Oh, right over here.
Lots of fog tonight, huh, Joe?
You're walking on it. Well, there it is. How's your insurance, Patsy?
All right, except I'm not carrying any on that dead guy. Who is he, Joe?
I don't know. He's your passenger. You roll him.
All right, give me a hand. No, push him over on the other side, will you, so I can get in the pocket?
Is he the same guy that took the keys?
I don't know. If he is, he never looked lovelier. There's nothing in this pocket. This one's empty except for a comb. He sure spent my $70 in a hurry. Must have thrown in the wallet for a nightcap.
No identification.
We should have bought a scorecard.
Hey, here on the floor. It's a key.
Let me see that, Joe. Room 425, Royal Arms Hotel.
Where is it?
That's a dive down on Turk Street. Well, say hello to Homicide for me.
Oh, you're not bright tonight, Novak.
Well, I'm not going to stay around here. They'll pick me up faster than a gin fizz.
Well, what am I going to tell them?
Anything you like, Joe. Shift into freewheeling and let them follow, but I'm not going to hang around for a pinch. I'm one boat and $70 short.
Tell it to Homicide.
I don't like manual labor that much. See you later. I started for the Royal Arms Hotel. And on the way, I picked up the only honest guy I know. A bottle baby by the name of Jocko Madigan. He's a good man, except he thinks it's a waste of the taxpayers' money to put alcohol in torpedoes. I hauled him out of the Hunt Room bar, and we walked down the street to the Royal Arms Hotel. It was the perfect spot for a missionary. The lobby looked like the first act of Rain. There was a pinball machine in one corner, a couple of last year's girls in this year's slacks, and a bleary-eyed little night clerk. He looked like a well-groomed laundry bag, and he gave us the fisheye as we started upstairs. Room 425 was down at the end of the hall. Jocko didn't care if we ever got there.
Patsy, we have no business coming up here. We're in search of fool's gold.
We're in search of my $70.
Exactly. I view you as my penance, Patsy, the sackcloth for a misspent life.
If you can shake off that buzz, you'll find out I'm in trouble.
You'll always be in trouble because you're a patsy, and you're dangerous because you move in the twilight zone between good and evil without any predisposition toward either one.
Yeah, all right. Here it is. 425. Nobody home. Let's go in.
It's housebreaking.
Now, look, Jocko, I want my $70. I'm going in.
Patsy, sometimes you terrify me. I think you'd pick the lock to the gates of heaven.
I would if they had my $70. Come on. The guy's dead down in my boat. We won't hurt his feelings. We'll just nose around a minute and get up. It was a pretty room if you like dead women on your rugs. She was stretched out in a pale yellow dressing gown, as quiet as an April morning and twice as pretty. A dull red scar ran across her temple where somebody had laid an iron shovel. She didn't belong in this hotel, because she was wearing a necklace and a bracelet that left a gap in somebody's pocket. And from the ringside, she looked all right. Jocko noticed it, too.
She has lots of character.
Yeah, but where's my $70?
She's a nightclub dancer.
How do you know?
Her picture's plastered all over the wall there. She's the headliner at El Palateo, Miss Rita Malloy.
I wonder who the guy on the desk is there.
Boyfriend, probably. Let's get out of here, Patsy.
Oh, wait a minute. How about that dead guy in the boat? Where does he fit in?
I'll listen to that one, Novak.
Oh, Hellman.
What happened to the girl? She die laughing at you?
It's Rita Malloy, a piece of change from the El Palateo.
Uh-huh. Got a hat, Novak?
No.
Then you're all ready. Come on.
Oh, get your brain lined up and look at her. She's been dead a couple of hours.
You're still eligible, Novak. On your way down, you can explain that guy at Pier 19.
Oh, you can't be that dumb, Hellman.
I'm smart enough to see you peeking over the 8-ball. You look like a 10-to-1 shot, Novak, and I got my money on you all the way.
If you're going to make this thing add up, you can't do it alone.
I'll try.
Well, that's what Firpo said. So I don't look good on this one. I'll look worse if I leave it up to you. You couldn't find a hangnail if you knew what hand it was on.
You got 24 hours, Novak. I'm going to piece things together, and then I'm going to make a pinch. Pick out a soft spot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Stay near the phone. If it rings and a man answers, that'll be homicide. Good night.
Hellman was right. I looked like a sure bet for the rotogravure section. I was beginning to run out of silver linings, and I knew it. I didn't have an answer for anything. The guy in the boat was still a stranger, and Rita Malloy was still dead. I was sitting in the middle of a high-stake game with a pair of trays. When we left the hotel room, I had the funny feeling that there was something wrong back there. I didn't know what. I just knew there was something wrong, the way you feel when you pick up the wrong hat and put it on. The position of the body, those pictures on the desk, I didn't know, but there was one detail that didn't set right. Well, I told Jocko to hang around headquarters, and I started for the El Palateo. It was like all the rest. A little melancholy bar on Mason. A fire trap with a cover charge. The decor looked like early Franco. The floor show was on as I fought my way up to the bar. Excuse me, please. I'm sorry, lady. Can I get through here, please? How about a drink?
Your idea. What do you want?
Scotch.
Soda or water?
Water. You got a nice club here.
We like it. 80 cents.
Too bad about Rita Malloy.
Yeah?
You don't seem heartbroken about it.
I'm not a mother. 80 cents.
Anything wrong, Eddie?
No, boss. This guy's crying in his beer about Rita Malloy.
Oh. I'm Manny Ryan.
You own the club?
A piece of it.
My name's Novak. Call me Patsy at the moment. The police think I killed Rita Malloy.
When you go on trial, Mr. Novak?
I don't. That's why I came down here, to find out which one of your people killed her.
I see.
She was mixed up to her ears with some thick hoodlum.
You, Mr. Novak?
No, a guy right out of your set. He came rolling in with the tide this morning, playing rigor mortis all over my boat.
Look, Novak, you better go see someone else to tell your troubles to. I'm a busy man.
Yeah, well, so am I, getting out of a murder rap. You knew her, Ryan. In fact, I got an idea you knew her pretty well.
Let's not talk that way about the dead.
Your pictures splattered all over her apartment. Were you engaged to her?
That's one way of putting it.
You better have a big fat alibi ready for tonight. Homicide's going to think you killed her.
I'm betting on you for the finals, Novak. I don't need an alibi. She was a friend of mine.
That's why you need one. People just hate their enemies, but they kill their friends.
You better stay out of the public library, Patsy. You're not smart enough to understand epigrams.
I'm smart enough to find out where you were from 10 o'clock until midnight.
Go ahead. Circle around the club. But keep a drink in your hand. We run for profit.
I didn't get much out of the doorman. He wanted a first mortgage to talk, but one of the busboys opened up. He told me that Ryan and the girl had brawled the night before. Also, that Ryan left the club for about an hour tonight. Well, I put him on the list anyway. But it began to look more and more like a one-horse race. Well, I got one other lead. A clarinet player in the band wanted to harmonize with Rita Malloy, but there wasn't much else to go on. And then I spotted the gal who had taken Rita Malloy's job in the show. She was just finishing her number, and so I followed her back to a dressing room. When she opened the door, I got a nice warm feeling like a melted cheese sandwich, and I was looking around for a rope to hang on. She was pretty. And when she said hello, you knew it was time to send in the varsity.
Good evening.
For some people, you mind if I come in?
It's late in the season. I can't be choosy.
All right. I'm Pat Novak.
I'm Tony Drake. What do I do? Tremble?
Talk, mostly. Did you know Rita Malloy?
Around here, that was an occupational hazard.
The police think I killed her.
Did you?
No. When I got there, they were tearing down the goalposts.
Oh, that's too bad. I'd have been very grateful.
It's something I'd like to try.
Are you switching the topic, Mr. Novak, or have I been in the big city too long?
I just want to know who killed her. You got any ideas?
Nope.
How about your boss?
Maybe. She was getting a little frayed around the edges.
How's his temper?
No worse than a cobra's. He might have done it, but I doubt it.
Anybody else?
He was putting in a little overtime with a thug.
Not a big, porky guy with a deep voice?
I never saw him. I just heard that he was trying.
Must have been quite a line. Anybody else? How about that clarinet player?
No play. He was just a salmon swimming upstream.
I see. Well, do me a favor, will you, Tony?
All right. You only get one, so make it a good one.
They're tailoring me for a trip over the hill unless I show up with a fistful of answers. Now, can you give me a list of all of Rita Malloy's friends?
I can write them all down on a piece of confetti.
I mean, everybody close to her. The people around the club here, the people on the outside. I'll pick it up in a half hour at your apartment.
At my apartment?
Yeah, at your apartment.
All right, don't get sore. I was just inquiring, not complaining.
All right. One other thing, Angel.
Yes, Patsy?
Don't forget to put yourself on that list. Be seeing you. Well, it was good to get out of there. When she started walking towards you, you felt like a shovel full of scrap iron in a Pittsburgh blast furnace. Well, I called up Jocko at headquarters. He didn't seem to be worried about me. He was thirsty. The guy on the boat hadn't been identified yet. The coroner said he died of severe bruises and that Rita Malloy checked out with a fractured skull. I gave Jocko Tony Drake's number, and I started for her apartment. I couldn't have done better with Aladdin's lamp. She had the list and a bottle on hand. I went over the list with her, and then it turned out she had insomnia. The radio was turned down to room temperature. I was working on my 5th drink when the phone rang.
Oh, let it ring, Patsy.
Oh, I better get it, baby.
I think you're a sissy.
No, prison pallor wouldn't look good on me. Hello?
Patsy?
Yeah?
Are you busy?
Well, depends on your point of view. What's up?
I'm not tearing you away from that list of suspects.
Let's have it, Jocko.
They just identified the dead guy on your boat. His name is Bruno Swice. He's wanted in Miami, Florida. He's a hired gunman.
Good. Now jump over and see Paul Stangl at the Chronicle Morgue, huh?
I already have. There's no tie-up between Bruno Swice and Rita Malloy.
There's gotta be. Those two killings are tied up like ham and eggs.
Hellman just got a report from the Harbor Patrol. They found a buoy knocked out of place. They figure your boat did it and Bruno got killed in the crash.
What does that do to things?
It clarifies them enormously. This way you're going to hang for only one murder. Good night, lover.
I knew Jocko was right. Hellman could rig me as long as he had only one case to work on. He's a single-celled animal, and this was just about big enough to fit into his brain. Well, I left Tony's apartment, and I walked over to the El Palateo. Must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark enough for me to kick in a back window without being seen. I headed straight for Manny Ryan's office, and I started going through his stuff. It was like trying to separate a ton of salt and sugar dumped in the same bin. I went through most of the drawers, and in the last one, I got a hold of something. I grabbed the phone on Ryan's desk, and I called Hellman. Well, I wasn't sure, but I figured he could try this one on for size anyway.
Police headquarters.
Give me Hellman and Homicide.
Yeah.
They must have put their best men on his trail because they found him inside a half hour.
Hello, Novak.
I'm in Manny Ryan's office. He owns the El Palateo. I just rifled his desk.
It's a minor offense for you.
I got a hold of last month's phone bill. Guess what?
It's too high.
The office put through 2 calls to Key West, Florida, the last part of this month.
4 o'clock. I'm barely interested. Go ahead.
Bruno's Weiss hired out as a gunman. San Francisco is a long way from home plate. That means somebody sent for him.
And you're trying to put the finger on Manny Ryan.
That's right. That silver frame you picked up at Rita Malloy's, take a look at the guy in it. That's her boyfriend, Manny Ryan.
We'll check on it. In the meantime, keep squirming, Novak. You look pretty.
Oh, you're smooth, Hellman.
Smart talk's not going to keep you out of the chair, Novak. Stay handy. We've only got a short extension cord.
Yeah, well... Hello, Hellman. Hello, Lupos? Frank, is Jocko Madigan there? Good, put him on, huh? Hello, Jocko. Now listen, I'm up at Manny Ryan's place. Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure, but I think that Ryan's... My head must have looked like a jackpot. Everybody in town was hitting it. I rolled over and played dead for about 5 hours. It feels better when you've had a dress rehearsal. I woke up in my apartment. The sun was streaming through the window and hit the bed. I looked like the muslin counter after a sale. It turned out I was the host and didn't know it. Jocko was sitting at the table having breakfast. The bottle was almost half shot.
Good morning. How's the other world?
Can't you leave that stuff alone?
Do you have a headache?
Of course I have a headache.
Well, I haven't, so stop lecturing me.
How'd I get up here?
I dragged you here by the heels. I met all the other hucksters on the way.
All right, stop being funny and help me up, huh?
I am the victim of a common error. You don't like me because I'm not entertaining when I drink. You don't object to my drinking. You object to my lack of wit.
Oh, shut up.
Well, it's discouraging to be condemned on moral principle when it's really a flaw in nature. By the way, I think they're going to arrest you for the murder of Rita Malloy.
What about Ryan?
I've recommended clemency.
All right, come on. What about Ryan?
You bungled it. By the time Hellman got to him, he had an alibi all framed. The calls to Key West could have been made by anybody in the club, and Ryan's covered for the time of the murder.
How about the others?
They look good, too. Your girlfriend, Tony Drake, was gone for a while the night of the murder. Hellman won't bite. She's just sitting there ready to spring an alibi.
That's right. With legs like that, she can dig up a cousin.
You better get worried, Patsy.
I am. The El Palateo is a dead-end street. I don't know where to go from there. That guy Bruno in the boat could help. There's some connection between Bruno's Weiss and Rita Malloy.
You're the only connection I can think of.
Yeah.
Hello, Novak. This is Hellman.
Yeah?
You were right about Bruno's Weiss and Rita Malloy. We just went through her safety deposit box.
I'll bet you handled the money.
She had a clipping on Bruno's Weiss from a Miami paper, 1937.
Go on.
Divorce action between Weiss and Miss Olga Pryor.
Well, did you look up Olga Pryor?
That's where we run out of gas. Nobody knew her. We have no description.
Well, how about Rita Malloy? Any dope on her before 1937?
I was going to ask you. You were in the room with her when she died, don't you know?
No, I don't.
I'm disappointed. I figured you'd know a little about her habits.
Huh?
You wrote the book, mister. I figured you for an answer.
Yeah, I got one. And you just gave it to me, Hellman.
Huh?
Meet me at the El Palateo in a half hour. Now, if you're a real good boy, I'll tell you who killed Rita Malloy.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know, Novak.
Things were falling into place like a fixed roulette wheel. Right from the first, I knew that there was something goofy about the picture in Rita Malloy's hotel room. I wasn't sure. I just knew I had something in the back of my mind. I didn't tumble until Hellman tipped the mitt. And then everything was cakes and ale. I sent Jocko up to room 425 in the Royal Arms Hotel, and I told him to get a description of every dress in the closet. I checked at the desk, and I got the name of Rita Malloy's cleaners. I ducked over there, and I got a list of every dress that she turned in for 3 months. I met Jocko, and we compared the list of dresses. Well, it jibed fine, except for one thing. There was a missing white dress. It had been to the cleaners before. It wasn't there now, and it wasn't in that hotel room. Well, we went over to the El Palateo to find it. Jocko didn't want to buy the scheme at all.
Patsy, I protest the notion of breaking into a lady's dressing room.
Well, stop worrying, will you? She's not going to be there.
Then it's futile as well as immodest. Besides, how do you know Rita didn't throw away the dress?
I'll give you better than track odds on that one, Jocko. Here we are. Come on. Now, look, you take the closets and find that white dress. I'm going through the desk for grease paint.
You should be going through a woman's closet. It's more in the nature of things.
Just look, huh? There's enough grease paint here for the whole Iroquois tribe. Did you find anything?
Yes. What's this?
Just look for the white dress, Jocko. Hey, what's that in the corner?
Where?
Over here.
I don't see anything.
Well, down here, look, see?
Oh.
Well. That feels good, doesn't it, Jocko? Like a spell of perfect weather.
Same grease paint?
Well, it won't take us long to check. Here, you open a couple of these jars.
Don't forget your apron, Patsy.
Hello, Tony.
What are you doing?
Getting ready to build a fire under you? You're going to make nice smoke, too.
I liked you better when you were dumb, Patsy. You don't look good with a Ph.D.
Oh, put away the gun, baby. Remember, this is your second trip to the plate.
Give me the dress, Patsy.
It won't fit.
Don't worry about that. Just toss it over by the door here.
I'll do better. I'll bring it.
Stay where you are, Patsy.
It's my ticket out, chum.
You're a good guy, Patsy. Stay out of my way.
It's your role, baby.
Patsy, please stay away from me.
Come on, give me that gun.
Patsy, please.
Give me that gun.
Sorry, Patsy. That's all I could do.
Yeah, sure. You want to take a look at her, Jocko?
Put her down on the floor.
Yeah. What do you say, Jocko?
No dice.
Well, can't win them all, Tony.
You play too rough, Patsy.
You still got a good batting average, Novak.
Hello, Hellman. You better make a fast pinch.
She do it?
Yeah.
She got kind of clumsy in the last round, didn't she?
Not at all, Copper. They had me coming and going. When you're as far back as I am, they don't pick up the option.
Let's get out of here, Jocko. I'll check with you later, Hellman.
Be a good boy, Patsy. I'm going to miss you. You were getting to be my favorite hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know how you were on the distance stuff, but you were sure something on the sprints.
Yeah. Be nice to her, Copper. She could go in the mud herself. Well, it was blackmail, of course. Tony was once married to Bruno's wife. Rita Malloy found out and started to squeeze Tony. Well, Tony wouldn't buy that, so she killed Rita Malloy in her hotel room. She made one mistake. I didn't tumble until Hellman mentioned a woman's habits. Then I knew what was wrong with that picture back in Malloy's hotel room. It hit me like a discordant note in music. Rita Malloy was lying on the floor in a dressing gown, but she was still wearing her bracelet and necklace. Well, when a woman undresses, she always takes her jewelry off first, and then she takes off her dress. Rita Malloy didn't do that, so I took a flyer and decided that somebody had taken the dress off her and put on a dressing gown. Why? Well, because there was something wrong with the dress. It pointed too much in one direction. Oh, it could be a lot of things, but probably grease paint. Tony called Bruno out here. He was supposed to use my boat to dump the body, and when he didn't make it, Tony got scared and lugged away the dress. My $70? Well, it would have looked better on a fixed fight. Well, Hellman asked only one question. How did I happen to know that when a woman undresses, she always takes off her jewelry first? I must have read it somewhere.
The Armed Forces Radio Service has just brought you Pat Novak for Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is produced by William P. Russo. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Basil Adler. Be with us again next week when over most of these same stations we'll bring you Pat Novak for Hire. Novak for Hire was previously released by ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, for listeners in the United States, and rebroadcast for our men and women overseas. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Thank you.